Hello and welcome to Rime of the Frostmaiden, episode 40. This is the end. This is Summer is Coming. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kelly, who was the dungeon master for this campaign, and now we're done. We did it. We beat her. The Frostmaiden.
I can't believe we did it.
We did it.
I can't believe we did it either.
So
does Vistra's brain jar have a beard?
Yeah, obviously.
Of course.
Like it's drawn on like it's drawn on the side with like on the side where like the faces were for Larry. But yeah, it's or it was stripped off the corpse and then kind of like that moment from it was like that moment from America the motion picture.
The movie? Yeah.
So anyway, hey everybody, how's it going? This is Dork Tales. Thank you so much for tuning in to our post-campaign wrap-up. I'm really excited to be here tonight with four of the greatest people and my best friends on the planet, or on any planet, because hell, you guys are my best friends on Toril too. Although I'm not your best friend there, I'm your enemy. Your Harwar. Also, can we show off our fashion real quick?
Yeah. Bam.
We're so stylish. And then you two just look nice. Thank you. You're just both so handsome.
You're just so beautiful.
You're so beautiful. Anyway.
And
I went for springish colors
It's true.
for Kelly.
I'm in the cockpit of my spaceship.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, man.
I'm in my fake condo. So, hey, if you ever see me in this
I
is
was like, we've had snow for so long, so green
True.
trees.
we get to wear, like, shorts on camera. It's going to be great.
After we toss the magic sun grenade.
Magic sun grenade. Okay, so, folks, let me introduce everybody. And please, actually, you know what? Introduce yourselves and tell me where we can find you after 39 episodes of watching you just be wonderful people and having a lot of fun with you. Let us start with Christine.
Hello. I am Christine. So I played Callie Thornhill, our halfling druid, who was absolutely lovely and wonderful and sassy and sexy. But you can find me, besides on Dork Tales, you can find me as Lady Liliana on Twitch. I stream generally on Tuesdays and Saturdays, generally Guild Wars, but I've been throwing a little bit of Dream Daddy in there too. Unfortunately, of course, I'm not streaming for a while because we're going on holiday. But I'm hoping to maybe get one in on
Wednesday?
not this Thursday, but next Thursday.
Oh yeah, we'll
Potentially.
be back.
Well, and I can't do this Wednesday because normally I would do this Tuesday, but we're shifting a Dork Tales game onto Tuesday, and Wednesday is right before we're leaving, so I'll be packing.
Yep. And I'll be doing some setup stuff, so I can't be around either. Not that matters for your stream.
No,
Sorry.
it's true.
All right. Pass it over to Hayden.
Hello, catching that. What's up?
was a
Hi
good
guys,
catch.
I'm Hayden Daviau. I played Lysithian Callisto, our moon elf wizard. I'm going to miss them so much. My grumpy moon elf wizard, evocation wizard. I love them. You guys can find me over on Twitter a lot. I just post a lot of BS and then cute photos before game. Ooh. You can also hear me in the case study of Vanitas this season on Funimation, where I play Amelia.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm in a lot of shows over on Funimation, so if you look me up, you can find out what shows and watch those good things. And streaming-wise, I stream how many days a week? Oh my gosh.
At least 4, right?
I stream 3 days a week over on Net19 Official. Wednesdays is mine and Bread's gaming stream. So right now we're playing It Takes Two, which is really fun. And then Thursday and Saturday we're playing D&D. We have multiple different games over there. So if you guys want to see more of D&D Hayden outside of Mondays, you can hit me up over there. It's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of that, donate to my Ko-fi so I can become a VTuber. Thanks. Bye, base.
All right, let's pass it down to Mike.
Hey folks, what's going on? My name's Mike, and I played Katerina Firestring, our lovely human bard. And when I'm not on Dork Tales, you can find me over at Captain Starbun. I'm just firing up my streaming again after taking a bit of a break when I changed jobs, changed house.
Change pronouns. They were all in a sequence. They were all in a sequence.
Yeah, they're all over the place. But anyways, you can find me over there. I generally will be streaming Elite Dangerous, so you could come meet this lovely lady, Katerina Sparks, in our beautiful ship as we traverse the vast galaxy in a 1-to-1 scale recreation of the Milky Way in Elite Dangerous.
Hell yeah.
Nice. And finally, I'm going to pass it down to the person who joined us and the Dork Tales crew specifically through Hayden for this game, and has become kind of a staple. You're basically like a potato for us now. Like we can't live without you. You're our potato, Robin. Remember, potatoes.
Boil and mash them, throw them in a stew.
Yeah,
All right.
that's generally what I do to her
Forget about
characters.
frying them too.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But anyway, hi, Robin.
I'll take that as a compliment. You know, I won't. You know, thank you for calling me your potato. But yes, hello everyone. I'm Robin. I played our lovely dead in a jar brain Vistra, Dankil, our Mountain Dwarf Barbarian, and you can find me over on Twitch at Second Gen Gamer, and I am getting back into trying to figure out a regular schedule for streaming, but I can't believe that I joined for this game, and yeah, crazy times.
Oh, it's fantastic. So, how's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good. Just kind of chill. A little melancholy. Because it's like really like we said goodbye and I cried off my blue and everything, but I'm like, now it's like real. Now we're really saying goodbye to these characters, and I'm like, it's been
Or
a really,
are
really
we?
good story. Or are we? They will forever live on in my heart. I love Lysithian. I loved our party, so I'm a little melancholy.
A little melancholy.
I think I've been a little melancholy all week, to be honest. Like, other stuff happened, but I think like this kind of also contributed to the kind of down I had last week, because I was just like,
Well, and last week, I very ceremoniously like took off all my costume bits, separated the shirt from the vest, unpinned the fur stole, took the wig off and put it away, because it's been sitting out on a wig stand this entire time on my dresser, so it's been sitting and ready with the little flower crown on it. Put the flower crown away with the others. I mean, Callie's never gonna be dead because I fall into her voice all the fucking time now.
It's true. It's
like I start talking in my stream and I'm just like, oh yeah, oh hey, I'm in Callie voice. Well, hi guys, I don't normally talk like this, but
Oh yeah, no, I fall into Lysithian's accent just because sometimes.
oh yeah, Vistra. I'm trying to do like I do my Irish accent for Darcy on our mage game, and every once in a while Vistra slips in there. I'm like, Vistra out.
oh my god, Robin. Okay, so your mage accent is contagious.
Irish
Oh, no.
accents tend to be.
Oh no.
I knew Scottish was a contagious one for me, but Irish apparently is as well, because there was moments where we were playing last game and I had to very much, I could hear just a slightest lilt starting in my voice, and I'm like,
You
nope, she's Canadian.
Oh, Darcy, you're getting a little hint of the accent, are you? It takes a while
Just
to get
a
into
little.
that accent. Just a little.
But I had to also be careful I didn't pop up into Claudette or Callie during mage, because I'm like, no, she talked very proper, but it's not sweetsy.
Yeah.
It's soft but not sweet.
All right. So, as we're hanging out, basically, this is a wrap session. We completed the game. We defeated it. We kicked Oral's ass. We saved Icewind Dale. We got completely screwed over by a time travel stick and a revivified corpse with a magic hammer.
Yep.
And this is our way of like showing up and like decompressing and unwinding and talking about the campaign in ways that anybody who is here, feel free to ask questions in the chat about like things that we liked about it, things that we didn't like about it. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look at this monster. And
we saved Icewind Dale, but none of us get to actually reap it.
Like,
Yeah.
Like
I'm
none
the
of us get to
most
see.
Like,
I'm the most
holy
likely
crap,
to be
guys!
able to,
Congratulations
because I
on
have to go-
finishing a module.
Yeah.
Like a whole
fucking
book.
did
finish the shit out of this.
I don't think I've ever finished a module before.
No.
You did
I
Curse of
haven't.
Strahd, but that one was
I
kind
guess
of...
Curse of Strahd kind of counts.
And you're in the middle of one right now over on Nat 19, right?
Yeah, we're in the early stages of Princes of the Apocalypse.
Nice. And it's
Which is-
apparently you're having a good time, right?
Oh my god, it's been really, really good. We're off book right now because shit. Let's say we made a wish with the Daviau, and that's been a whole time. But yeah, no, we're kind of off book right now. But yeah, no, Princes of the Apocalypse has been wonderful so far.
Nice. All right. So why don't we go through this book and let's talk
Yeah.
about, first of all, like what we liked about the campaign, what we didn't like about the campaign, and what we would have fixed. So I just got a question in the chat that wants me to start this. I want to start off with, and that is Chef Eladeth is asking, so the living spell Bartender, Everlast, was that an actual spell or a DM twist added in? So the thing about Everlast, okay. So, it was my modification that Everlast had been a person who had created either all of the doppelgangers or at least a subset of them, and had sent them out into the world because they're all over Icewind Dale doing crazy stuff. And it's like, why would they be there unless they're there for a purpose? Like, it seems like a weird place to go vacationing, really, aside
Yeah.
from the isolation element. And it feels like they were trying to do like a John Carpenter's thing, but didn't quite invest enough into it. So I was like, okay, Everlast is really good, but here's the deal with Everlast. Soon after the characters enter this area, an entity called Everlast makes its presence known. Everlast is a living spell bound to the Spire. It can manifest in the image of any humanoid species or gender, but defaults to the form described below, which is basically like, I don't know, like Kevin Spacey, basically. Bald, wearing a long purple gown. Like, it's basically Lex Luthor, Kevin Spacey. Everlast speaks the same language as any creature that converses with it. Can't be damaged and can't be dispelled. Eriolarthus created Everlast to aid him and his apprentices in their doomed mission to restore Yithrin from ruin. In the years since creation, Everlast has seen Eriolarthus crumble to dust and the apprentices transform into Nothics. With nothing to do except hold its standing orders, Everlast has become hopelessly bored. The character's first few faces that he has seen for centuries and is immediately warm to them. Basically wants them to assist in the city's restoration and not reveal the secrets to outsiders. And doesn't really... Well, he can't reveal anything to you. And basically is there to kind of give you lore if you haven't picked it up anywhere else. And for me, that seemed like a waste of a character. For something where there was a little bit of intrinsic horror. Because I had been hinting for a while that Lysithian might have bitten off more than they could chew with a pact with Asmodeus. And for those of you who don't know, like for those of you, by the way, this is going to have some spoilers. So if you are new to Rime of the Frostmaiden, prepare for spoilers. The back of this book in the fan community is not particularly well loved. In fact, either you really love the last chapter of the book where you're in Yithrin, or you hate it generally because it's not connected to the rest of the module. Like the entire module functions like this. Meet friends in Icewind Dale, go on a bunch of adventures. Neat. Go on some higher level adventures that seem to be hinting at some weird conspiracy between the Chardalian magic materials, the Frostmaiden, and some larger plot. Go fight the Frostmaiden. Then find out that it's actually about basically a crashed UFO from magic history. Go investigate the magic city. And it's like none of this is connected. Like it's just like the first 3 steps are really tight and it feels really good. And then it kind of like swivels into a ditch. So there is a really common patch for this game called the it's the Levistus fix or the Leva twist or Leva fix. And what it basically does is it turns the entire thing into, oh, Oral is actually going to free Levistus, or Levistus's return is connected to Oral somehow. Besides the fact that Levistus's people are all about cult and that there is a cult of Levistus here, that never comes back after you go to Caer Konig.
Yeah.
Like in the book, it does not at all. So I was like, I might as well throw something in there, because if you don't think Asmodeus, and strangely enough, Sunblight, what's his name? Sunblight, the dwarf king, is a warlock of Asmodeus. But they didn't write anything for that. They set two. So for those of you who don't know, Asmodeus, big demon lord, Levistus, big demon lord that Asmodeus trapped in ice in one of the layers of hell. So you'd think that there would be a connection. It's like, I don't know. It's like there are two story elements that should gravitate toward each other, but they didn't really go into it. So I tried to do that, and looking at Everlast, I was like, similarly, oh, there's some foreshadowing that I've done through Asmodeus, dealing with Lysithian regarding, I said a couple of like cryptic things like, oh, time is a circle type of thing, right? Like, etc. Because I'm like, there's a chance they might activate the time MacGuffin at the end of this. Now, the thing about time magic, by the way, as a DM, you never know when they're going to use it, so you got to hint this really slowly. And, for example, Lysithian saw a photo that looked like them and started to recognize people in the background, and you were like, oh, I'm going to look at it, and I'm like, oh, you get distracted, so you can't see it till later, because I don't know how this game is going to go. Because, well, thanks for the sub. And the fact I'm turning him into a bartender, there's like an illusory bartender, but I was like, why not just make him the bartender? Because then I've got like the Shining vibes.
Yeah.
Because there's time loops, time travel, portraits, and I can have a bartender being like, hello, Jack. Right? And why would I not do that?
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
I love that someone called me out at the second I did it in the chat. They're like, this is the Shining. And I'm like, damn straight. There's Vistra with the axe.
Like, and?
Oh, but anyway, so there are some things about this module that are very interesting, and what I'm going to do is I want to poll everybody in the audience, and I want to poll you four, and I'm working on a couple of how-to videos on how to run this chronicle or campaign for YouTube. So I want to know what you thought. What was your favorite part of it? Like, besides, okay, here, let's get this out of the way. Each other.
I would say my favorite part was probably the beginning. I think that was one of the because it was low stakes, and we got a ton of RP. Like, we did so much. It was so like RP heavy at the beginning, and we just really got to know each other. And I felt like I started that's when I was falling in love with the party members, was when we were doing the bar scenes and having like kind of, you know, the shenanigans more side before it kind of took this twist into weird Magic City land. So my favorite part was the beginning, because again, this was my first time doing D&D, so I was doing all the like beginning D&D stuff. So it was that was my favorite part, was the beginning.
Question about that. So at the beginning of this book, they give me the option to put you in any of the 10 towns. Like, you do not have to start in Bremen. And I looked at it, and I pulled you off camera, I think, beforehand. It might have been during episode 0 I asked you, but I was like, okay, how friendly do you want it? And you kind of pick the middle ground for everything. Like, not too big, not too small. And Bremen seemed like the best place because it was the most isolated out to the west. I don't think this game would have been quite as intimate if you had all started in, like, Bryn Shander.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was probably like a crucial kind of decision that was made.
Can you imagine starting in Caer Konig?
It would be a completely different campaign at the beginning.
Different.
Yeah, it would have
Right?
felt
It's like,
very different, I think.
oh yeah, that castle up there, it's full of cultists, eh? We've known about them for a while.
Don't mind them.
But our heroes don't
mind
care. We're homies, eh?
Yeah, don't worry about them.
Like, how would that have
Don't worry
gone?
about it.
How would
Yeah,
that?
it's like,
That's so weird.
Yeah.
You know they're cult. Oh, all right.
Yeah, that's
Okay, sure. Do you want to join? Ice
Fucking
powers.
hell yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think I really enjoyed that, and I also, not to toot my own horn, I really liked the opening scene because you don't have any of the opening scene. So in our game, I ran an opening scene where inside of Bremen, the town speaker is a dwarf at the edge of his life, and he keeps going on these like senile sleepwalking walks where he wanders into a blizzard, and I was like, that's a great metaphor for this entire campaign once you read through it and you're like, oh, it's about loneliness and isolation. And that seemed like a great way for you guys to like find each other in a blizzard, and like you get where I was going with this. Like it's a little ham-fisted now that we're over, but I really enjoyed that. I don't think you can do it. Like you got to put those twists on it. You got to garnish it.
I think it's better than the you meet in a tavern, for sure.
I also love that, like, you got to know a lot of the people in these towns, and that the NPCs they wrote in quite a few of these towns are actually really, really relatable, like Cora.
Yeah, I love
Cora.
Danica.
I think like one of my favorite things was like going and dealing with the cultists of Levistus initially. I really, really liked that. And also, it was kind of a fun thing because that was a point where Lysithian was still a doppelganger, because they're a doppelganger for the entire time until y'all didn't know. Where I was like DMing Kelly, being like, "Hey, I'm reading the brain space. What are they thinking about?"
Aw, we got a great comment right now saying that we love that Darkainen loved the role-playing around 10 towns, but what we did with the Goliath feud was amazing. Reading it in the module, it seemed like there wasn't a lot going on, but you really brought the situation to life with your role-playing. Thank you so much.
I
thank you.
loved dealing with this stuff with them.
Yeah, like that was the thing. There was so much in the beginning that I really enjoyed. Like I enjoyed basically when we were going around doing all the side quests in the beginning. That was, I feel like, some of the best of the module, because we had such creative things, like the dinosaur. Callie's just like,
that was
hi, how you doing?
You didn't fight it. I was so proud of you. I was so proud.
I was just like, I can speak to animals. Is this an animal? Hi.
Oh
yeah.
And that was so much fun because you also just rolled with it and gave it so much flavor.
I hoped so hard you weren't going to fight it.
There was so much, though, that was part of that, of just, like, the role-playing between everybody. Like, me doing that, and then everybody going, like, wait, is she talking to it? What? Do we not fight it?
So your favorite was...
holding the weapons. Just
so your favorite was the start and all of the beginning stuff?
Yeah, so all the side quests, really. And then, I mean, like, going and dealing with that, like, kobold infestation.
Yeah.
And walking over the dude that we all hated.
Yeah.
Oh god.
At one master.
Oh, that was so. And the thing is, like, they don't give you any rules for that. So the whole thing about that is, I don't even know how long he's supposed to be able to possess. But I was like, screw it. I don't like this guy. I don't like playing him. This is much more fun anyway. But there's a lot of stuff that we didn't do out of this module. I think it's really funny because I think you are right. The best part of this book is the side quests. These side quests are better than the ones in Candlekeep. Like, because we just finished running Candlekeep Mysteries. I would much rather run an episode of, like, The Mead Must Flow for Good Mead, which you guys didn't do.
I wanted to do them all. They were all so
I was really sad that we didn't do the White Stag one, because I was just really curious.
Yeah.
I'm so curious about that side quest in particular. I was like, we never did.
I'll run it for you. I'll run it as a one-shot for you. We'll set something in Icewind Dale, make some new, like, level 3 characters, or something like that, and we'll run through it one night.
All right.
That'd be really fun.
Yeah.
I could try out another version of Druid.
Yeah. Or you could try something
Circle
good.
of spores, bitch. It's so fun.
So you didn't.
You also Swarm.
You also didn't go to Jarlmoot to meet giant ghosts.
Oh right.
You also didn't go to the prison, which I was actually bummed.
The prison.
I was bummed about the prison. There's also a Goblin Fort, where like all the goblins are amassing, and that's got a really cool twist in it. The Lost Spire of Netheril, which is a spire that you could have gone that was part of, like, I think it's like the top of it's the top of one of Eriolarthus's towers that broke off during the crash and landed upside down. So you have to go through it from the bottom up.
Okay.
cool.
Like everything's upside down and everything's broken. And if you go through it, there's like a chance that there's a bunch of cool stuff in it. But yeah, I would run these. Like, I think that if nothing else, like this book is a really good.
Let's do that then for whenever we have a moment where we need to do a side story or we have
Like an empty
want
night?
to fill something in. This group is first, and we just make a set of characters that will follow through all of the side stories
Yeah, I
that we haven't played,
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, that was.
and just have
the
them
best
ready
part.
for that.
And I'll let it be that if anybody has one of these side plots that you're like, no, you can't run that without me, I'll just pick a different one that we didn't do.
Yeah.
Right? You have your quarter on the machine so that you've got it dibsed. But if someone has a busy night, it's fine. Okay, so and Mike, what was your favorite thing?
Much of the same. Like the RP in the beginning was just so good. It was just so much fun. Just working through finding out people's secrets and stuff was really really fun. And then once we started to get into more of the more complicated aspects of the plot, the modules definitely seemed to kind of break down a little bit. Until you brought in the supplements and decided to just off-road it.
Yeah, I think it's just so much better when you put it in 4-wheel and just go.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, you were saying, telling about some of the decisions in the module versus with what you did with it. And it's just like, oh, if it was done the way it was written, it probably wouldn't have been that fun. But
Well, there's no
definitely exactly. Like there's like between the beginning and the end, there's not the only connection between them is oral.
Well, she's not even, but she's not even connected to Yithrin because it's been trapped under ice for thousands of years. Here's the one I was thinking about the other day because I know I should have thought of this earlier. I was making breakfast or something, and I was thinking about Yithrin, and I was thinking about like, and you need. I was thinking about stuff to talk about tonight. It was you need the Rime of the Frostmaiden to open the glacier. Really convenient that the ice goddess has the thing that breaks ice open in her basement for you. That's really convenient. Like, it's just such a dumb twist. Like, no offense to the writers. I know that you were probably, like, you were under a deadline and that you were, there were probably, like, how many writers are on this? Probably juggling different plot lines. This is not me slamming anyone who wrote this, but I think that, the story writing team is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like, about 12 people. Like, that's a lot to juggle. So please, nobody take offense to what I'm saying, but it's like, it's a little convenient, that plot twist.
Well, like the way that I kind of see it is kind of like the Mass Effect dilemma, where 1 and 2 were absolutely incredible. Like the stories were amazing, super deep, and the first half of number 3 had the same like depth, and development in it, but then the dev team, most of it got split up, or they got super rushed or fired. And then all of a sudden, that just didn't really mesh with the first 2.5. I'm really kind of disconnected there.
I'm really curious if the story team, like, if maybe this underwent some last minute revisions for some reason. Like, this is what it feels kind of like. This feels like a movie where the studio changed the ending. Like remember I Am Legend, where like Will Smith like blows himself up in a blaze of glory, and like, because the whole point of I Am Legend is that, oh, I'm the monster, but in that one it's like, no, I'm still the hero, boom, and everything's gonna be okay, boom. And it's like, you totally missed the point of Matheson's work, but all right, cool, bro. Well, not cool, not Will Smith, but the director and the studio is like, cool, bro. Okay, so here's an idea for a plot twist. If you had to fix this, what would you fix? I'm going to pitch this first of all. What if Oral, who is a tiny little goddess who is CR9 according to the book, or CR8. Like, she's not very big, because almost all of her power is going into keeping Icewind Dale frozen, which is why you could kick her ass and why I fudged her stats in the final fight so you'd actually have some fun. She's CR9 in her final, and CR10 in her second form, and she's supposed to be CR11 in her third form, but let's be fair, the frozen tier queen is pretty easy to beat.
It's very easy.
And I gave her max hit points. Like, I added an additional 60 to 80 hit points to each form, and you still did that.
Good.
Listen, I love a max hit point fight. Also, Callie carried that fucking fight.
Callie eviscerated those extra hit points that you gave them each time. Just
Oh my god, yeah, no, Callie,
Fire elemental, beautiful.
that was so good. And I was like, well, good thing I have only fire things.
So,
But Callie's just like, nah, I got this. I can
She
solo
kicked
this
ass.
Fire
fight.
bitch.
I got
and
this, boo.
and also, Robin, you sent me messages. You thanked me. You're like, thank you for letting me get those final hits. I want to say this publicly. I didn't let you get shit. That's the way the cookies crumbled. That's the way the cards fell. That you ended up getting 3 kills after having the worst game the game before.
Yeah,
So,
I thought you were taking pity
no,
on
I
me,
wasn't.
honestly, 'cause
I
got
was
Oral
trying to survive,
every
and it kept.
form. I got the how do you want to do this for every single form for oral, and I was just like, fuck yes.
I was like, this is getting gratuitous, but I can't do anything. You actually, like, it ended up with you, and I'm like, okay, well, you ever complain again about having a bad night, you killed 3 forms of oral, so jump off a cliff, Robin. So here's my thought. Okay, so you have this magic floating city that got crashed and has all of these cool magic items in it, including a device that can turn back time. So it's got like tons of stuff, including the Mythalar, which can change, it can change weather for miles and miles and miles. Oral's a tiny goddess who can barely keep Icewind Dale cold when it's already basically Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't she want that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shouldn't it be a race against time once she finds out about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
Like, it feels like the cultists should be, like, going to recruit her to get there, or that one of the brothers, like the Arcane Brotherhood, who are looking for this ancient city, gets captured and tortured, and the information leaks through one of her druid cultists, or something. Like, it feels... Well, because once she gets to the city, like, the thing is, if you kill her beforehand, she doesn't show up in the city. But if you do, or if she gets away from you, or you don't kill her, she shows up in the city 24 hours after you arrive, according to the book, and starts, like, hunting you down across the city with her minions.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be more stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
But, okay, what was your least favorite part of the campaign? Let's start with that. What about this? What was a game or a storyline or a plot that was kind of like, Yeah, Vistra.
I know.
Or Robin.
Fighting class, and the last chapter was the least favorite part of the game.
Fighting
Fuck you.
class?
Being a fighter.
Like being
Oh.
a fighting class, like not spellcaster.
Yeah, this thing was
In
not
the-
designed for...
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
basically like a fuck you if you chose a fighting, any sort of melee type class to help out your party. Guess fuck you in the Magic City.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of like least favorite.
I am sad that you didn't use the Scroll of Trask summoning against Oral and have a let them fight moment. Because that is my dream ending for this. Is that or against the giant mechanical dragon? And then you got
Yes.
Mechagodzilla versus the Trask. I would have
Oh.
been
Yeah,
so
I think
down.
that's the thing is that for me at least, I couldn't really pinpoint a particular game, but when we started going up against Oral directly and out of the side quests, the threat feeling, like the level, it just kind of just took a nosedive.
Did it? Like,
Yeah.
wait, did it
Didn't
seem like...
much.
Was it less horrific when you were going up against Oral?
Feels like it.
Huh. Oh, yeah, I guess you're right, because the moment of highest tension that I can remember is the dragon.
The dragon was scary. Oral
That
was
was-
not.
Yeah, Oral didn't really freak me out. What freaked me out is that we nearly party wiped in that first fight
Yeah.
against her. But like when we were in Yithrin, I was like, we got this. Honestly,
Yeah.
the swords are doing
Yeah.
more damage to me right now.
Yeah.
Like Yithrin had interesting parts, but I didn't particularly like it.
Well,
Like it had parts that were fun and interesting.
and those interesting parts,
We're all the extras.
by and
Were
large,
all of the
were
supplement.
the Dan Con things that I bought. With the
Yeah.
exception of this. I didn't run this because this was basically the tunnel from Willy Wonka. It's basically just like the one with the fans.
Yeah. And I must admit, I didn't really love the Zardorok stuff. I feel like if that had been the point of the campaign, it would have made more sense. But it felt like here's another big enemy. It was a really hard dungeon slog to just get to him.
Yeah.
Like for just handling like 2 rooms. Because we
Well-
went directly there. We didn't even explore.
Yeah.
It was freaking hard, and we had NPCs helping.
Yeah, so yes, now the NPCs helping, that was obviously something I provided because there's no reason that the 10 towns wouldn't try to go help.
But in the same instance, like even with all that, like it was hard.
Well,
And we
there-
had like people on our side in there.
Yeah, there
So,
there
like-
were like 60 combatants at one point. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
yeah.
And like
It's like,
the dragon felt really like, oh my god. Like I would have preferred more lead up to that. Like honestly, they could have basically like had, instead of like Zardark being just like his own thing with his Chardil and dragon, like have him in cahoots with Oral, like worshipping Oral or something.
or trying to stop her and destroy the town to stop her. Like for example, what if there were clues that you had to find among the 10 towns inside of these like side quests that would get you to Yithrin? Basically, that like,
Yeah.
oh, the secrets were built beneath the 10 towns. And then he's like, all right, they're beneath the 10 towns. I can fix that. No
Or
10
if he
towns,
was like
no
the mini
breadcrumbs.
boss before Oral sort of thing
Right, well, or
that you had
or,
to get through to get access to Oral.
or if he was an ally that betrayed you even. Right?
Yeah.
But the Duragar can't be allies because they're obviously douchebags, right?
Yeah, he felt like-
they suck to begin with.
He felt like he was like a kind of a point of the game potentially, like he could have been,
Like,
I mean-
him
but
and
it
the
was just
dragon-
over in a couple of games.
Yes,
right?
I
Like,
know.
we kind of had a hint, and then all of a sudden, holy shit, there's a Chardillan dragon.
And that dragon was fun. I will say there are 2 things that this book is hated. Well, that is, this book is contentious for. One is the last chapter being like, what? But the other is the choice. Do you go to the fortress or do you fight the dragon? Because as written in the book, you cannot fight the dragon. And I think I warned you this beforehand, is that if you go up against the dragon, you can fight it eventually, but given its fly speed and given your movement by the base rules
Oh,
for
yeah,
the
that's
Huskies, because we had to work this
Yeah.
out. So if you're running this game, adjust your Husky land speed to 4 miles per hour over non-mountainous snow. I believe that's what we decided. Because right now, the book also has this weird rule where the Husky can go, I think it's, your dog sleds can go 2 miles per hour, I think it is, but then they have to take an hour-long rest between
Yeah.
hours. An actual dog sled can run for up to 8 to 12 hours. 8 is usually a day's run for these dogs, where they can do it every day, and you can push them as hard as 16 hours in an emergency, and they will survive in real life. And these are magical dogs, right? Like, these are dogs in a fantasy world. So there are a bunch of forums for Rime of the Frostmaiden where people actually broke down land speeds of dogs, stamina of huskies, things like that, and went, these rules don't work for this module. And they make it so that if you try to chase it, let me check Destruction's Light, because there, it says it in there. It implies that you can catch it. Let's see. I think the math was that if you go straight to Bryn Shander, you can save it. Otherwise, you lose all the 10 towns, I think is how it works out. Because of its flight plan, which is right here, it's in green, you cannot catch it because the roads are rough and the way the roads go. If you try, it gets, like, I think it takes you like 16 hours to get to like Caer Konig. But if you don't manage to catch it at Caer Konig, it just goes, and there's no way for you to cross the Dwarven Valentine. It's a real problem because they want to set you up with this choice where, honestly,
One of the
Zargarok-
choices is just failure.
the choice is failure, right? By math, it's impossible to save. The only one you can save is Bryn Shander, and each one that you go through, the crow's very insistent. The dragon takes additional damage for each town it goes to. Well, sort of. Dugan's Hole does none. East Haven reduces its hit points by 10. And Caer Konig has the saddest dragon damage note, by the way. Trovis was the town's best hope for defense because he was unconscious during the attack from being drunk. No organized resistance was mounted. Consequently, the dragon takes no damage.
Oh no!
So, as written, Trovis fails and everyone dies because he was drunk. And that was
Yeah.
and that was fixed by Katerina. Because Katerina specifically sent a message to him, or a sending to him, and woke his ass up out of a drunken stupor. And had she not done that, the entire town would have died. And Trovis would have died a dishonorable cur. Instead, he had a complete story arc reversal because he's like, I almost let all my friends die because I can't control my vices.
See, I
That's
think
really
that's
cute.
I love that.
I think that's what I really liked about the beginning campaign is because we spent all this time, like, going around the 10 towns and helping everyone and getting to know NPCs, that the dragon was so
Flirting.
much scarier because we knew everyone. We knew what was going to happen with the dragon, and that was an actual serious threat. Because we're like, oh my god, we're seeing this dragon going and destroying these towns that we have helped save and seen people struggle. Like, yeah, we want to fuck up world to stop this, but also, like, I thought that was much more like my heart. I was more invested emotionally in that kind of.
You paid so much money to bring his ass back to life.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That was.
Well, and having done all the things, like, because I think also, like, that's partially your style of DMing, is that you do make NPCs real people. And they're not just there for information purposes. They are actually somebody to get attached to and have personality and life and all that.
Thank you.
Because I think that's something I found in other games I've been part of, is just like the NPCs are just kind of there and then they're gone.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, this game, at least, there was a lot more to it, a lot more, like, humanness to it. And I mean, just between all of us RPing and just making silly choices, we had much more personal connections with a lot of the NPCs in all the towns that we visited. Some of them were really like very confrontational connections,
but
which
the
we
majority
really
of
screwed
them
over. But
the majority of them were pretty good though. Like our Bremen, was great. All of the NPCs in that were
I love
awesome.
Danica. She's so annoying.
Danica was
I really
amazing.
like Danica.
My job
what
was
was the
just
town
to
that we
make-
got kicked out of because of Lysithian?
East Haven. It was East Haven.
East Haven.
Yeah.
Which Vistra had a great experience there. Vistra had a really nice friend there.
Oh, what was his name? Hold on, I have that written
I
down.
don't remember
I
now.
have it written down too.
We never
but
actually
also
went
that was
back
her
to him.
hometown. That was her house. That's where her brewery was. So
Oh,
that
no,
was her
it-
house.
Oh, sorry,
no, it can't have
sorry.
been that
No,
then.
it wasn't. It wasn't East Haven. Then it was
It was the place where rats are historical.
Targos.
Yeah.
Oh,
Targos.
Targos.
Yeah, it was
Targos. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Targos.
so you had your
But yes, that's
your
where
friend
she had
there.
My cleric.
Yeah.
She-
As the and like Targos, where when we fought that weird ice person,
I like
right
And-
in the beginning.
yeah, right in the beginning, and like that kind of thing didn't really come back that much, or in a way that really pushed the story along.
So, do you want to know more about what his deal was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
That
so
was kind of our first hint at the weird stuff going on.
yeah, and it's one of the two opening stories. So the one opening story is you go look for Chwinga, which are great. Chewing gum are wonderful. You should use them and learn how to do like cute noises if you're running.
Yeah, it's
this.
true.
So cute.
Chewingas are amazing.
I
So
love
Sefik,
them.
let's see. For the benefit of the characters, blah 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 blah. Sevik's Helen's theory is true, and Sefik Kalter is killing 10-towners who cheat their way out of becoming sacrifices to Oral. This is because does it have the quick write-up about him? There it is. Is a well-built man in his 30s, has an olive complexion. Cares, most striking features, eyes. Let's see. He is, in truth, Sefik was not born during Midwinter, because he says that he's got Midwinter's blessing. He was a mariner whose ship sank off the coast of Oral's island a few months ago. He swam to the island, but nearly froze to death. As his life was fading, the spirit of a frost druid beholden to Oral possessed him. Spirit cannibalized his own and is using him as a living vessel to do the Frostmaiden's work. The spirit can't leave Sefik's body. If Sefik dies, the spirit is destroyed. So what he does is Oral's bidding around town. So honestly, knowing what I would do now, I would have more of him.
Yeah.
I would say that she has more minions like him. And you will not believe this, but the number of parties that I have seen that Sefik has one-shotted.
Huh.
And
Damn.
actually, yeah, someone in the chat right now is saying that he's a rough starting quest because he's CR3. I don't think CR3 means anything if you have a full party wailing on him. Because he still only has, what, one attack per round? Two attacks per round. So, and if I roll poorly, and if you have a barbarian in his face, it's... Yeah.
I remember that fight. Callie turned into a direwolf and and Vistra rode on Callie's back to catch up, and then you flung Vistra's ass at him. It was so good.
But like, if you hit him at range, he's got not much he can do to you, right? It's like it's
Well, I think that was the thing was that we had a couple up close, but then the rest of us were at range.
Yeah.
Well, I think
so, like,
Mike,
Callie just cast spells at him.
he does have Mr.
cast fairy fire, so I had advantage on my attacks
Yeah.
without rolling recklessly. So
trying
Vistra
to-
just got to just wail on him at advantage with no consequences to herself.
Yeah.
And I think that he did have Misty Step, but I don't think I think I got one round before you killed him. Like, I think you killed him in like
Yeah, we wrecked him
one.
pretty quick. I
We
seem to
fucked
recall.
him up
Pretty
really quick.
fast.
Because
Once
my-
we caught
Yeah.
up to him, it
Because
was
like
pretty
I always
fast.
try when I'm playing a character that has like an intelligence or wisdom score that is in a combat, I try to think like a person with that person's training would think. And it's like, okay, I'm being attacked by a dwarf. I'm gonna kill this dwarf. They saw me killing this person. I'm going to kill this one. And then suddenly wizards show up and I'm getting struck by stuff, but I've already acted. I need my turn to do anything, right? Because he doesn't have legendaries, and I don't think we were doing hurt them more, so I couldn't cheat back then. It's hard. But I think that could have been a much cooler story to seed throughout, like more of these people who aren't doppelgangers but are possessed by like frost spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that horror would be kind of great, actually.
And it would give the party paranoia. Like, who is actually secretly working for Oral? Like, who can we trust in these towns? That
Yeah,
would-
exactly.
Well, why do we trust each other even?
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Right? Especially with Vistra having that weird cold shit going on.
Yeah.
So everybody got 2 secrets in mind. That's another thing I suggested right from the get-go, is that instead of 1 secret, you get 2, and you divide them into an A team and A tier and B tier. I think it's hilarious that we went through the entire thing and Lysithian never gave away their second secret.
Tell them. Share with the class what my
Your
secrets
orc
were.
rock? Lysithian had a rock in their possession that could summon an orc tribal chieftain to their defense 3 times.
I'm gonna be honest.
You forgot
I
you had.
forgot.
I mentioned it a couple times to you. I was like, don't forget your secret. And you
Yeah,
were
you
like,
said don't forget my secret. I fucking forgot, dude.
oh
I-
god.
I forgot so early on, which is why I was like, yeah, you'll never guess what it is. I am faking it, motherfuckers. I have no idea what I'm talking
I had like I was
Fantastic.
pretty sure you had forgotten. to
I'm
be
an
honest.
actor. I lie for a living.
So you could have summoned at any time. You could have had a friend show up, which is where Slothouse Orcstone. You saved the life of an orc who gave you a stone with the symbol of the Many Arrows tribe. Carved into it. The stone is an uncommon magic item that requires attunement. Only I can attune to it. As an action, I can use the stone to summon a spirit of an orc warrior using the Orc Warchief stat block. It disappears after 10 minutes. It understands and obeys your commands.
Yeah, I fully
Damn.
forgot because I think I forgot to put it in my D&D Beyond sheet. I had it in my original notes that are in California. Probably. I hope so.
That's funny.
So,
But what
fine.
what
I
was
loved that I managed to keep Callie's secrets to basically the last. I was the last one to kind of reveal anything, which was fun. And
Yeah.
my last secret, of course, was great.
the paramour thing was well, that wasn't one of your secrets, was it? It was oh yeah, you had Old Flame, which meant that any NPC so the way that it worked in the book is that you could designate at any point in time you could go and say, hey, me and this NPC you just introduced have had a fling.
Yep.
So I used that as a running joke for a little while to introduce. Whenever I introduced an NPC, I was like, "There's a chance that maybe you had a fling, but it's not your big one." And I gave Christine some options without telling her any of the plot or anything. I was like, "Well, there's one guy coming up who's like this, and one guy," and I seeded villains in too. Because I think you're just supposed to use like common people in the 10 towns, and I'm like, no, like there's a chance that like what if you banged a Goliath?
No, I'm pretty sure it was stated somehow that you could, if the NPC was antagonistic,
What did it say that?
they would be friendly to you.
Oh, I think you're right. Actually, I think you're right.
That was the whole point. That's why we only looked at you at potential antagonists
Old Flame.
that we could face against.
Ooh.
Once I make this choice, I can't change it. This Old Flame is friendly and helpful to me, even if our past is checkered. So an NPC in the 10 towns. So,
Yeah.
but in theory, like that could have. I mean, I think a lot of people wouldn't have allowed villains, and I'm like, nah, it's better. It's better. Let's do villains.
Yeah.
Well, and that was the thing we kind of just discussed ahead of time because and my thing is that when Kelly and I were talking about it, is I was like, well, until we've actually talked a little bit or heard a bit about the character, I don't know who I want to pick.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather have it planned out in advance so that when we meet again, it can be the, oh, hey, how's it going? sort of thing immediately, the kind of sheepish, like, yo.
So
Right.
Instead of having to be like, oh, no, I totally knew this person. I just didn't react for the first hour.
So someone in the chat just brought up the worst secret in the game. And I have ranted about this quite a few times to Christine while walking the dog. It is called Slod Host. A red slod implanted a pellet-sized egg in me shortly before my adventuring career. If I can't get rid of it in the next 2 months, the egg will gestate inside me and a slod tadpole will burst from my chest, killing me. It will then quickly grow to an adult and kill even more people. This is the sum total of a secret. That is not a secret. That is a really weird plot. Because
why would you keep that secret? You would go around going, "Oh my god, help me!
Help
That's not
me!
something to
How can I
hide."
get this out of my chest? Like,
And it doesn't.
help.
It takes like restoration to get it out. I think not even greater. I might be wrong there. But there are a number of places in the book where it says if someone has the slot secret, this is a really cool time for it to kill them. And I'm like, no, it's not. This is
Like, we don't actually want anybody to have to make a new character because then you lose all that RP.
And this is such a low magic campaign that like, it's like, also you're dead now. It's like what? It's such a weird plot twist that they put in. There's nothing else. There's no reason for them to keep it secret. There's no information. There's no reason for them to want to pay it off in any way. And the red slots never appear in the book. The only slot in the book is the green slot that you encounter in the tower.
Mm-hmm.
So what?
Yeah.
Why do you want an alien larva? And it just kills your character, by the way. There is no, like, the book writes it in a couple of places where it's like, oh, yes, this could be an interesting time for the slot to burst forth. And it kind of is written like the character will survive. But if you look up slots, it's like, oh no, it kills them. There's nothing you can do about it. You just die. And there are a couple of them like that in here. Pirate Cannibal, that's the one Robin had.
Yeah.
So some ones that you could have had that did not. You want to hear these?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Dristfan You once met a famous drow ranger. In fact, you have a part of his cloak.
I love that.
It's so
Again, that doesn't feel like a secret. It's just something, a flavor text.
Yeah.
right. I'm a scion of the Alagonar bloodline, and only known heir of the crowd of Neverwinter. If Dagult Neverember, the city's Lord Regent, learns I'm alive, he'll send assassins to kill me. That's an okay one, depending on your game.
Yeah.
Then Escape Prisoner was one Callie actually pulled this first. And this is the one
Yes.
that Christine
And I was
vetoed.
like, I don't want to do this.
So I was brought here from another world by spacefaring mind flayers. The ship in which I was imprisoned crashed in the mountains south of 10 towns. After surviving the crash, I nearly froze to death crossing the tundra to reach the 10 towns. If some friendly trappers hadn't found me, I would have perished. I fear some of my captors have survived the crash and might come looking for me. Which would have been great, because then the It Ascendant plot would have adjusted slightly with the crashed spaceship. That could have been pretty neat if you wanted to play a weird character. Like if you wanted to play
Yeah.
a Gith.
Yeah, but I definitely had a concept already, and that definitely did not fit. Also, I think I'd already was that my second one?
It was an A tier one for sure.
Yeah, it was one of the first ones. So I think I swapped that for the lover one, and then the Harper was a secondary.
So, and there are a couple of other ones, like you are actually the offspring of Queen Bjornhild Solvigdottir, the Tiger Tribe queen. And she sacrificed you to Oral by putting you on an ice floe, and you survived. So that's kind of a neat one, but it only worked if you're human, and we only had one, and that the human didn't start as a human, so that wouldn't work. And so on, right? Runaway Author, Ring Hunter, where you're looking for the knucklehead trout that bit off your father's finger
Yeah,
and his
you
signet
gave me
ring.
that one. That was one of the ones I said nah to.
But that would have been an old bitey,
Oh, that's
is
fun.
where it
really
ends up.
funny.
And
That's what I figured when we got told by. I'm like, that's where that ring is. I bet.
see, and I like that. I think that those things that are put in this module are really clever and fun. But yeah, there are a couple that are just a little weird. Owlbear Whisperer. Owlbears are predisposed to like me. Or the Littlest Yeti. I mentioned that I didn't like the Littlest Yeti. That's like, I was raised by a Yeti and Yetis like me. And I was like, that's kind of dumb. I got torn up in the comments.
Really?
How dare you say
Really?
that Yetis are the best? And I'm like, whoa, whoa. I'm just saying that the other one is like, I'm a secret doppelganger. That's a cooler secret for me.
That's
but
fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all of our secrets were a lot of fun.
And I think the secrets were a really good aspect of this book.
They
I
re-
liked it a whole
and
lot.
especially having two of them was really nice. Like it ended up like for Katerina, for instance, both the secrets worked really well together to provide that backstory. And I mean, granted, in my case, the secrets were a little bit less randomly rolled, and a bit more like, yeah, here are some that I think would be cool.
I think you rolled,
What
and I
was your
gave you
second one?
I
Mike?
gave you a veto on one of them, is what it was. So everybody got one, and you had access to a veto.
Yeah, we ended up vetoing like 2 or 3 to get to mine eventually, because it
Do it?
just because none of them because we rolled a couple times and none of them worked. None of them were cool.
That's fair.
So
By the way, be flexible when you're on this.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Kat's second secret was that she basically had a bounty placed on her,
Mhm.
Yes.
and had an assassin sent to kill them. And that ended up working really well with the reason she was an Icewind Dale and to begin with, and how she ended up as Katerina. So like it just kind of worked really, really well. Yeah, and like Kelly and I went through a few different ones, and then we saw like those that worked really well, and it's like, yeah, that's it.
They all work pretty well together, aside from like Raised by Yetis, and then all of the I'm the heir of. That's not true. Those work really well together now that I think about it.
Yeah.
She put me on an ice floe. The Yetis saved me.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Yetis, you're like, I will be his mother now. Put your faith in what you most believe in.
Okay, I'm glad my
Two
brain
worlds,
also
one
went to
Yeti. Who are you? I am the Blue Yeti. Listen to my affordable podcasting sounds.
Ah.
Oof. Oof. I have Blue Yeti stories. Fucking, so much industry tea on that one.
Oh, do you? Because I've got a broken one, like, right over there that burned itself out.
Yeah, because Blue Yetis suck, dude.
They're fine starter mics. You can
Not anymore.
Not anymore? Oh.
No.
Oh, we're gonna talk about this
They're-
tea off camera.
They are very looked down upon in the industry now.
That's too
don't
bad.
try to-
Like about 3-4 years ago, they were okay.
Yeah, but there's a lot higher standards for that kind of stuff.
Anyway,
Honestly, I will be honest, I'm a little disappointed that Lysithians, like, it worked with the story happening at the time, but I'm, like, sad that Lysithian's doppelganger secret got spilled so soon. Because it was, like, 9 episodes in that it got spilled.
Yes.
And it was just because of the moonbeam.
It was 'cause of
I
moon-
didn't make my save.
and if you go back and watch my face on that one, you can see I'm feeling the same way on that. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, because that, like, Christine was just like, bam, I got you. And I was like, wait, you've got Lysithian in the blast. And she's like, yeah, it's not a problem. It's just a little damage. They'll heal.
And I'm like, that's a lot of damage, though. But also, bye, fuckers. Now
It's a problem.
It's a problem. 'Cause
Spoiler-
I'm like,
spoiler
I know
alert, it
what
hurts.
Moonbeam does.
But it's like, oh, and it also does this like plot twist thing, which was a good way of opening that up, actually. Like,
Yeah.
the timing was weird, but I don't know. I feel
it
you.
kind of worked out though, because we had the ability to then kind of reaffirm friendship and the power of love, sort of thing. I'm like,
Yeah,
no, we
like,
accept you as you are.
Yeah, the timing I wasn't fond of, just because I was like, damn it, this is such a big thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because it's a
Well-
fucking doppelganger, but the way it happened worked really well.
Yeah.
Is,
Well,
like,
like
where I stand
the
on it.
thing.
And I'm
the
not
ti-
faulting anybody by saying that. I
Right.
hope you know. I'm just as like in character. I was like, man, that was really early.
No, I feel that.
Yeah, but go ahead, Mike.
The timing thing for me was kind of like, because we had just spent that episode, a lot of that episode dealing with Kat's first
Yep.
major secret.
The
that
invisible
came out.
stalker, yeah.
And then we were fighting the like Kat's invisible stalker thing, and then boom, doppelganger, and it's like 2 big secrets in one game.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And Vistra's in the corner picking her teeth with one of her sister's bones, like, oh, what? I'm sorry. Oh,
And then like 2 episodes after that, Vistra's thing, and it was funny because I have this huge page of notes from because Kelly and I had a whole call like a couple weeks before the pirate ship, because I was just like, pirate ship, my secret's gonna come out, because that was fun, and I had to figure out her whole backstory, and that was just like that. It brought peek behind the screen. 2 weeks before the pirate ship, that's when I actually nailed down Vistra's backstory, because I was just like, how the fuck is she a cannibal? Oh, she's with her sister. 'Cause I think
we
Kelly was
had
like,
it
why were
loosely
you going
defined
at-"
before then, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we had it loosely defined, but it was kind of just like, that's when I really got into the meat of it, and that's where I came up with her sister. Yeah, I know, right? Good pun.
Yeah, it was
Good
pretty
pun.
bad. That was pretty bad.
I also love how you totally wrecked my character with my sister multiple times.
You
Yeah.
sure did. It was
Yeah.
so good.
It was great.
Well, because
It was
you
great.
kept
I
like,
loved it.
I will say, like, the one thing that I always hate when, and I get it from the player side, is the sassing of the villains. Because I'm like, do you mind? I'm trying to be evil here. Let me be evil. And you're like, oh, you suck. You suck so bad. We should call you, I don't know, whoever. I
Yeah.
don't know. But like, I'm like, So then I always add a little cruel twist whenever that gets happens too often. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm gonna dig up your sister's bones and send her because you sassed me too much. And it's not that you sassed me a little bit, but you mostly used like, why if I'm evil incarnate, like why wouldn't I torture you?
No, it's fine. And
Right?
the thing is, like, Vistra didn't like Oral because she gave her this forced, like, blessing that Vistra was like, I just lost my sister and I didn't want to live. I wanted my sister to live. So that's why Vistra was always sassing Oral. She's like, well, I'm your champion. You called me your champion, so I'm gonna fuck you, Oral. I'm not your fucking champion. So yeah. But yeah, she deserved it. Vistra totally deserved it. It was great. I loved it.
It's good. And I don't want to tell people not to sass me before villain encounters. It's mostly I've had that happen a bunch of times, particularly in live action games where I'll like introduce like not even a villain, but just like a potential big bad antagonist who's in the room, and it's like it's literally at one point it was like Lucifer showed up into a scene in the LARP that I was running, and like canonical in the world of darkness, Lucifer shows up, and people are trying to like sass him, and I'm like, you know who he is. Like, this is not the, like, and secretly I'm actually, but it's like literally, and they're like making fun of his shoes, and I'm like, would you really? People always want to be like Firefly protagonists. It's weird.
Yep.
They always want to be written by Joss Whedon. Don't. Get better writers. Sorry. That's just
I
me
was
being-
like, that is some fucking shade.
Yeah, and I'll put it across all of the characters that sound identical. Oh, look, that's all of them.
What? No.
Almost all of his character writing sounds identical. If you listen for the writing, not for the actor.
Mm-hmm.
The actors are good.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. It's like make different, like
Jokes.
dialogue choices.
Also-
because nobody talks the same.
It's true, and don't make the Flash grab Wonder Woman's boobs. That's weird. That's
Did that happen? Shit.
Yeah, that happened in Justice League in the Whedon cut. He falls over and animates her, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, and it's like, really? This is. If you'd done that to like Batman's crotch, that would have been a lot funnier.
Yeah.
Or Batman's butt. Like that
Just
would have been.
Batman's pecs.
Oh.
Do the boob thing right to Batman.
Well, that would have been so good because he could, because like you know how awkward the Flash was in that movie. He'd be like, I feel so safe and secure. Sorry, get off me.
Yep.
Like that would have been so good.
It could have been good.
Instead
Yeah.
of like, this is awkward or whatever her accent sounds like, because I can't. It's basically like nice Lysithian.
Yeah. If Lysithian were a good person and smiled more,
They'd be
Then
Wonder Woman.
smiled more.
probably.
Oh my gosh.
I love doing that
Wonder
accent.
person. Wonder person.
Wonder person.
Wonder person.
I was thinking of like wonder something them. I was trying to work it out in my head.
Wonder then?
Wonder. There needs to be another B in the middle.
Yeah, it does.
Wonderful them. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Not wonderful.
Hayden, what'd you hate about this?
What did I hate?
What'd you hate? Besides the secret coming out, but that wasn't a book thing. That was just a bad time
Yeah,
thing.
that it's honestly because the thing is, I'm like, it happened when it happened. I was just disappointed that it came out so early, but I
That is a
really
bad
like
cover.
how it came out. So like the circumstances, I'm like, this is great. It's great storytelling. So I was okay with it. But I think the in between times, like between Zadarok and because like to play devil's advocate against what Christine was saying, you were saying like you didn't like the whole Zadarok plot point with everything.
Well,
I'm
more
a
that
big.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
feel like it was used well. It felt too
Yeah.
just kind of plugged in, whereas it could have been the whole game. So like it was a cool idea, but I feel like
Yeah.
it didn't get used well. It just kind of popped up all of a sudden.
Kind of. I felt like there was stuff kind of sewed throughout that kind of gave us a reason to go, in my opinion. I really liked it. I liked that part. And I'm a big dungeon crawl nerd. I love a good dungeon crawl. Gimme. And then you're weaker by the time you get to the it's a good time. It's a good time. I love that shit. So I feed on that. I think the in-between times, like after
the Chartland Dragon and then kind of figuring out what the fuck we want to do before going to Oral.
So you're talking about not the Sad March. You're talking about
not the Sad March. It was kind of the in-between times before we're like, okay, we're gonna go to Oral. There was like a couple times in between where I was like, we're not doing a lot here.
Yeah, well, because I have to convince you guys to go on like an igloo dungeon crawl, right? Actually,
Yeah.
I got to admit, the entire thing, Grimskull, felt like kind of a miss to me. Like going to Oral's Island. Like,
Yeah.
not the going there, because dealing with Angajuk and like that entire
was
thing was,
amazing.
that was
I
rad.
love Angajak.
Like,
And that was
like,
a really fun. That was my first time getting to fly. Was getting attacked by like what was it, harpies or something?
Oh right,
Yeah.
yeah.
The thing
vultures.
about Grayskull though that I
Grimskull.
really liked.
Grayskull's a different. That would have been a different story, and that would have been
By the
so much
power of
better.
Grimskull. About Grimskull was Vistra's reaction with the dragon.
That was great.
The
But you
dragon
gave me the
coming out
phobia?
of
Yeah.
that with Vistra's phobia of dragons, that was fantastic. But
Which
you know, when the ice dragon erupted to life,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
the ice sculpture dragon,
That was cool.
when that came to life and started doing not very nice things.
Well, that's the power of callbacks, right? Like,
Yeah. And that was really, really good. You know, like was kind of mentioned earlier, the dragons were amazingly scary.
That was
But-
so
But
good.
fighting Oral on the island was kind of just like fighting a fairly tough enemy. But the dragon was terrifying.
When
So-
Hayden and I got that scared laugh.
that made me so happy. By the way, I was like, I'm winning. I've got
You
it.
thought you're like, why are you laughing? I'm like, I'm freaking out, dude.
I'm terrified.
scared.
Yes.
Dude, honestly, like, I don't think I have like moments that I hated. I personally, the last chapter, like the last chunk was like, I'm a magic user, and even I'm like, I found it was a little monotonous going from like one tower to the next tower. And I feel like that could have been condensed a lot, you know? Like after playing it now and sitting with it, I'm like, that last chunk really kind of felt like a slog because it just felt a little monotonous. And I'm not about that.
Well, it was the wash, rinse, repeat thing where it's
Yeah,
like,
it was
go
like
to the tower, fight a mini boss, get
go
the
to
thing,
the tower.
blah
but-
blah blah.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing in the book, so without the additional ones I got from Dan Kahn, the original one is basically like you go to the tower, there's some stuff going on, you find the words, and then you leave. Like, not all of them had encounters. Some of them were very quick, like the Tower of Necromancy, which I think was the Tower of Necromancy is actually one of the ones that convinced me to do that.
Yeah. I liked the Tower of Necromancy a lot.
Yeah, it was good.
Larry's great.
Yeah, Larry's amazing. And the
Larry's-
faces.
So, okay,
They're
let's
so
let's
good.
let's
So good.
let's redo this.
So
So the
good.
Tower of Necromancy. All right, you ready for this? Okay.
Dun, 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 dun,
As it
dun.
goes in the actual book, and hold on, I gotta find the damn thing because it is. I also put them in alphabetical order because it's just easier to find them when you're flipping through the damn book. House of the Arcane, Members Bar. Where is it? I can never find the damn Tower of Necromancy. Tower of Illusion, Tower of Transmutation. Where the balls are you? So anyway, vamp for the camera. Boop, boop, boop.
It's nice. It's nice that we're doing this because it's reminding things like, oh yeah, the dragon. Oh yeah, the fight against Zardarok. Like it's just
Yeah.
bringing up good memories.
The remains of a toppled tower lie scattered around you. Its fractured base, protruding from the ground like a broken tooth, is teeming with crawling grey hands. A detect magic spell here reveals an aura of necromantic magic. 200 crawling claws are tirelessly but ineffectively trying to excavate the tower's ruins brick by brick. Anyone who disrupts this effort is attacked by 2d6 claws. Deep under the rubble, the corpse of High Necromancer Catavix lies crushed, yet his ghost remains to haunt the tower. Characters who linger in the area witness his gaunt spirit staring glumly down at the debris. Catavix's ghost is harmless and attacks only in self-defense. It laments the fall of Yithrin and longs to see its corpse freed from the ruins. Excavating the tower takes pickaxes and shovels and requires hours equal to 50 divided by the number of excavators, minimum of 1 hour. The crawling claws don't help. Well, they don't attack if you actually try to excavate, but they don't add to your total. If Catavix's frozen corpse is unearthed, his spirit is laid to rest, and the claws shuffle off to the ruins. Those who find the corpse claim its necklace, so you treasure, and while digging enough, you find an inscription. It gives you a necklace of fireballs, which is pretty useful in the final fight. But that is literally the entire thing for the Tower of Necromancy. How boring is that?
Wow.
That's
Wow.
wouldn't have done
Dig
it.
up.
Let's be real, we wouldn't have done it.
Well, and the thing is that if you didn't kill Oral, that is a number of hours equal to 50 divided by the number of excavators. So if Valen is there and able to help you, that means it takes 10 hours to do this. Okay? 10 hours. Every hour, you have a roll to see what is coming out to hunt you at this time. And there is a 1 in 10 chance that Iriolarthus shows up.
Well, heck.
Yeah, so the Yithrin encounters are 1 to 50, no encounter, 50 to 55, 51 to 55, a Tomb Tapper, one of those big-ass guys, 56 to 60, 1d3 Big B's Living Hands, or Living Big B's Hands, or some Cult Fanatics, if Avarice is there. Then the next 5 are Spitting Mimics or Cold Light Walkers if Oral's there. Then it's Gargoyles or Frost Giant Skeletons. Then Magen of various varieties. Then Magen of various varieties. And then Nothics are the next tier above that. So that's like every hour, right? Each hour they spend exploring, or each time they conduct a thorough search of an unnumbered building on the map. So what? And also, Oral shows up 24 hours later. So if your average party has 5 people, and one of them is Velen, you are looking at least, what is that, 8.5 hours of excavating?
Yeah.
For one place?
Yeah.
No.
That's weird. And there are a couple of others
We'd
that
probably
just
give up after a few encounters. We'd probably be like, yo, no, not worth it.
It's not worth it.
We need to GTFO.
The Tower of Abjuration I ran as per the book, and then just modified it later with some cool stuff. You also could have gone to a prison, a menagerie, the Tower of Conjuration. I ran as per the book, but I spiced it up by making the hags cooler. And there is a magic goblet in a House of the Arcane that you could have gone to that would have given you supernatural gifts if you drank from it, but also some bad stuff. There was a well that had like a creature inside of it that breaks your brain if you look down into it. It's like a Shoggoth. It is what it is. There's an Arboreum that has the Nether Oak, which I just burned because I was like, it's better. Because you have to fight Needle Blights, and after Curse of Strahd, I'm done with Blights. After the Battle of Yesterhill, I'm just like, nah, Blights aren't a thing. The Tower of Divination is way different too, because hold on, there's one there. The one that I wish that probably could have ran was inside of the library, where there is an Arcanoloth that is running around inside of the library trying to find what the hell is he trying to do? He's stuck there for some reason. I didn't skim it too much because I wasn't going to use it. Once I realized we were using the additional things. Basically, he's looking through the library for some things because he was summoned there. The fiend stumbled upon Yithlin's library by chance and is convinced at least one of the legendary tomes is hidden there. Alas, he is mistaken. He has a blind penguin assistant that is enslaved to his servitude, and the penguin is trying to convince you to kill his master to set him free so he can die. Because he's basically like so just done with life.
I mean, that would have been really easy.
Yeah.
So
Penguin goes, and Callie goes,
What's up, friend?
let's see.
I can't speak with animals. What's up, dude?
Oh, it can speak in common.
Oh.
Scratched into a piece
Hell
of
yeah.
leather are the words "Help me" in common, with which Kingsport wrote using his beak. I guess he can't talk. He can just. Oh yeah, he can talk. Oh yeah, because he doesn't want his master to hear. That's why he scratched it. Characters who agree to cooperate with the Arcanoloth soon find themselves loaded with Kingsport, who reveal that Scriven Scry, that's the Arcanoloth, is a cruel and wicked master. And they only arrived yesterday using plane shift. And you get some cool stuff. This is him, by the way. If you,
Hell yeah.
Ooh, fancy.
it's kind of.
I would have tried to like convince him to stick around and hang out with us and have a good life.
Yeah, we would have wanted to adopt him.
It's kind of
For
weird because he's supposed to be an assistant that's helping look for books, but he's blind.
Weird.
Are the
So
books all in Braille?
not a particularly good librarian, I would think. He has blind sight, but I don't think that helps you read. If anything, I know
No,
about Daredevil,
It doesn't. It doesn't help you.
because I know that that Daredevil can drink a can of pop and tell you every ingredient and the amounts in it, but he can't read a book. Actually, no. Actually, Daredevil can read a book, so long as it is a printed book and not a screen. He can read it because he can feel the difference in letters.
That's interesting.
Yeah, superhero knowledge, because I'm a giant nerd. But Mike, we haven't actually found out what you didn't like.
Mine echoes a lot of the similar things.
Yeah.
Yithrin, I didn't care for Yithrin.
It was a little too long.
Netheril.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, Netheril is the country. Yithrin is the city.
Yithrin. Like the entirety of the ice glacier.
You didn't like that?
Yeah, I really wasn't a fan of the entire glacier.
It was pretty quick
and
though.
Going
Like,
to it was quick. I feel like I don't know if I would have liked it more if it had gone on longer, because I feel like it would have just dragged a little bit. We would have gotten to the chamber with the giant squid thing in the ice wall and been like, oh fuck that shit, and walked away.
yeah, the
and
weird
it's like-
Cthulhian entity.
Yeah, which I mean, I really like the idea of it.
But nothing
and
happens.
I feel like, but nothing happens. I feel like there could have been something really, really cool with that. But nothing happens. I mean, obviously we didn't see it anyways because we were able to just steamroll through. The worm things, actually, those were really cool. Like, I really like those
Which one,
creatures.
please?
Remoras.
Oh, the Remoras? The
yeah,
hot
the
worms?
Remoras. Yeah, the hot worms. I really, really liked those as creatures. I really want to bring those into like a Stargate game when I run a Stargate game.
A lot of the stuff really works for that type of setting.
Yeah, but like, yeah, for the glacier itself, I thought was kind of boring, just because there wasn't really much that the module gave us there.
You did bypass a lot of it. I think that might have been some of it. But,
Yeah,
but-
we bypassed a big chunk of it.
yeah.
By using the arcane eye, yeah.
I will.
Go ahead.
I was just say I will say that I'm glad you did though, because it did feel.
Me too.
I looked at that and I was like, "Fuck, this is gonna be a
Once I
slog."
saw all of what we were supposed to come up against, I was like, this feels like
Yeah.
this could be days of playing to get through this. And we supposedly have like a time crunch. Like, this is going to feel like forever.
Yeah, I
I do
didn't really.
wish we I just wish that for that episode that because you had the Roll20 with the dynamic lighting, I would have been I kind of was like, it was because I at that point something was weird with my computer, so I couldn't have the Twitch screen up. So when you were explaining the dungeon, I really couldn't see it in my head. So for me, it was a bit like
It's a
it was
big
an hour.
glacier with a hole in
Yeah.
it. So-
Yeah.
But sorry, Mike.
The initial encounter in the glacier with like the flaming skull thing.
Flaming skulls are always fun.
Flaming skulls are always fun no matter what you do with them.
Especially
They're
if you make them
hilarious every time. Like I really enjoyed that little encounter right off the bat. The Remoras were really cool in the glacier, but then Yithrin itself was just it just felt so disconnected from the rest of the game.
Yeah, and that's the number one.
Yeah, it's like
complaint,
they're
right?
just, it didn't feel like there was any reason that we would have. And then Oral shows up, and Oral showing up has nothing to do with the city. It's just because we're there. So it's like, okay, well,
I feel like that's good though, because like the fact that she's there just because you pissed her off is, I don't know, it makes it a little personal.
at the same time, actually, this goes into kind of your question that you just threw into Zoom chat there.
Don't go behind the veil. Shh.
One of the things that I think would do really nicely would be giving Oral a bit more of a reason to be pissed off at us. Like, yeah, we half kicked her butt and we almost killed her rock. But it's like, adventurers do that kind of shit all the time to a lot of people, and they don't get, vengeful hunts coming after them. I feel like there's a lot more that could be done to annoy Oral to really have a problem with us specifically.
Well, because I think it is implied that she is going there to prevent you from using its magic to stop her.
Yeah.
But that implies that she knows what it can do. Like, there are a lot of implications that this book has where they're like, oh, and then you'll do this. And, like, if you take a step back from like, the writing circle, and this happens, you get blinders on when you're writing a story. And you step back and you go, but wait, doesn't that mean that this? And you're like, oh, you're right. If I give them, like, a magic sword that can cut through anything, or like the spindle is a great example. If I give them a magical artifact that destroys magic and feeds on magic.
Yeah.
Well, what if they use it? They're not going to use it. Never, ever, ever say that. Also,
hits it like a baseball.
Or like, well, where does it come from? Oh, that doesn't matter. And sometimes that's fine. Like, sometimes it's fine to have a MacGuffin, but you should always remember the implications of having something like that. And like, well, what, anyway. But yeah, so, and one of the problems with Oral, the way she's written, and it's a problem with running gods, is that they point blank in the book say, don't have Oral appear very often. Try not to have her speak. Try not to have her really engage with the players verbally except through minions, because that lessens her mystique and makes her seem less godly. And that's true. The more often that Oral talks to you, the more she's just that bitch in the castle, and not like the goddess of frost and winter. But it also makes it really hard to have that antagonistic connection, unless, like, you really have to personalize every touch of the horrors of the winter. And that is one of the problems that I think that is really hard to convey in a role-playing game. It's one of the problems I had in Curse of Strahd, is that when I look back at this adventure, I think, man, I really wish that I'd made things harsher and meaner, and that the NPCs were, like, more bristly and cruel because they were, hungry and cold, and it was really isolated and alone. And then I immediately think, well, you guys wouldn't have enjoyed the game then. Like, there's a certain limit that you can push your players to with misery. Like Curse of Strahd make the players miserable constantly as well, because it's Ravenloft. But there's only a certain amount you can do that before it's like, yeah, today sucks too.
Like, how close are we gonna die this time? Because we can't buy potions, we have no gear, we can't do fuck all.
Yep.
So
oh no,
it kind of, like, Curse of Strahd really did kind of push you to the point of like, well, what's the point? Let's just give up and die already. Like, just to get out of this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas like with this, like, I never had that. Whereas like, oh, like, what's the point of this? Like, there was always all right, like, this, let's keep going so we can win this stuff.
Yeah.
And it was so awesome. Like, oh, you don't have any potions because no one has them. Cool. We need to be careful with what we're doing, or else we're gonna die. oh shit, we all died. How are we gonna solve this problem? And we come through it because we know how, because we can think. Most
You're talking
of
about the
us
time you
can.
actually died?
No, on Grimskull,
Oh, yeah.
where all of us almost died, and like all
It
of
was
our
like me and heckin' my
It was
god.
Velen.
it was
Velen.
it was Velen and Lysithian left, and like everyone that has like cure wounds and stuff is done.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how do we solve this problem? Oh my god, like it's so tense.
Okay. Did you guys like Velen?
I loved her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Velen was great.
She's basically a non-character in the book. Like, she tags along with you and does stuff. And that's it.
Yeah, no, Velen was great, and she was the right kind of annoying
Yeah.
that made her endearing. You know, like it was that kind of annoying that makes a lot of sense once you actually kind of know her character more. It was really I really liked her, at least.
I really enjoyed her, and I liked hers and Lysithian's interactions because it was such a like note of, I get what you're about, and that's it. We don't need to be besties here.
Yeah, we're work friends.
They are such work friends, but they're like, no,
Absolutely.
I get what you're about, and I'm about it, but I'm
Yeah.
still gonna do me.
That's
they
fine.
were classic wizards together of like, they're both a little arrogant, and I love that. Which I'm like, this is dangerous to have this feeding into Lysithian's arrogance,
It's
because
true.
So arrogant.
what it did to Lysithian is it actually bolstered their arrogance, and it kind of showed them like, oh, how I act, this is okay. This is how all wizards act, so I'm fine. It actually like, it made it worse, and I don't know if anyone caught that, but
I did. Lysithian got real like hard on Vistra in the last chapter. And that's when you broke me last game with Lysithian's goodbye farewell thing, because they had gotten so harsh on Vistra. Like I was like, am I imagining this? Was Lysithian getting like super bitchy to Vistra? Like,
oh yeah, no, it
was like
it bolstered it for Lysithian.
I caught that. I caught that hard because I was like, Vistra's like, man, Lysithian is such a bitch.
Oh yeah, no, Lysithian was already a dick, but like,
See, Callie was just thinking it was the blight.
The blight did not
No.
help. The blight definitely turned that up a notch, but it,
oh yeah, and as soon as you're like this, I was like, all right, that's how we're playing today, I guess.
what makes it the most funny for me as a player is with Katerina. You know, she wants to be friends with everybody, of course, because she's very social. She really likes people. But in our little group, she felt closest with Lysithian, and she was the most comfortable with Lysithian. I think as partly because of how different they are.
They're so different. But
so
yeah.
different. But is it like Kat felt, you know, closest with Lysithian. Like, you know, she considers Vistra and Callie to be extremely good, not work friends, real friends.
real work friends.
Real work friends. But Velen's a work friend. But if with Lysithian, Kat just really, really enjoyed their encounters with them. And then when Lysithian started to get real bitchy in Yithrin, Kat's like, what did I do?
All right.
Like, we're friends.
So if,
Nobody did anything. They were getting more powerful, and also kind of, it's like, oh well, there's another. This is fine. Also now Asmodeus.
it's fine. Who is your favorite NPC?
I loved Danica. I loved
Really?
her. Yeah, I
Okay.
loved my sweet little southern gal. But I also, because I interacted with them the most, I'm like, I really, really liked Velen. I really loved her.
It helped when you imagined Judi Dench. It really does.
It really does.
It really does.
Because, like, I can't play, like, an 80-year-old woman with, hey, hello, dearie, I'm here to cast necromancy. Like, I can, but, like, that gets tiring after a while. It's like, you know, just find a, if you're doing this, you can do the voices yourself, but just find, like, an intonation and just keep reminding them. You do
Judi Dench perfectly.
I do the tood correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really do.
So someone in the chat is asking, speaking of Velen, did you worry the party wasn't going to let her join up, especially because she's had undead kobolds with her? I mean, sort of at the beginning, I was like, oh, the party might be freaked out. But, like, once you read the way that the kobolds act and the fact that, like, are they all dead? I think they're all dead. Basically, what happened is she had a bunch of kobolds that she hired, and then they died, and she's like, I'm not losing my deposit.
Well, and also, like, Velen lent us, I think that was one of the cheats for the dragon that you had, was that Velen lent us
Yes.
the undead dogs.
The undead dogs,
to go
yeah.
fast. So
That
it's like
she
a
shows up
And
out of nowhere like
Took ours
Gandalf.
back with one of her kobolds
yeah.
to protect
Yeah.
our dogs that we were all like, our puppies.
Yes,
And
then
we're like, gotta go fast.
and then she immediately called in that favor.
Yeah.
Which is how I did it. I'm like, how am I going to get them to agree to this with this random character that shows up out of nowhere? Oh, you do something nice for them immediately and put them into debt, and then, which is exactly how Velen would have thought about it. Like, yes.
Yeah.
Whereas we were like,
Adventures
oh,
of
well,
me.
I mean, she offered help, so she must be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just
She
think.
didn't
Yeah,
kill
sure, we
us,
can help her.
So it's great.
So who else had somebody they liked? I'm curious.
That's hard because I liked a lot of them.
Cora for me.
Who?
Cora.
Cora was so sweet.
I loved her.
Cora was very
so
sweet.
much.
I love those small moments where you get just normal people that you have connections to. It's like, yeah, she's not going to help you fight, but she'll, like, you know, give you
The scene
extra
with
fries.
Vistra and her, the scene when Vistra was like, when she's talking about Harwar and stuff like that scene, that was, I love that, right? I know. That was my second, was Harwar.
Yeah.
So fun.
And now Horror is in the past.
Well,
There has always been Harwar. Destroy the past. Kill it if you have to. Travel back in
Become the
time and kill it
past.
if you have to.
Sir, this is a red lobster.
I am the Red Lobster.
Do you want fries with that?
I'm actually trying to watch my calories.
Oh, okay, salad it is.
Salad. Dressing on the side.
Okay.
Make it a balsamic, a dark balsamic.
Oh,
But you can't say no to the cheddar
Okay.
biscuits, right?
Can't say what?
So no the cheddar biscuits.
Oh no, I'm gonna
Cheddar
have
biscuits.
some damn cheddar biscuits. I didn't come here for nothing.
Good.
I've been eating fish for 2 years, Vistra.
But
I must admit, so I don't think they were necessarily NPCs that were part of the book, but that you created.
let's find out.
The Goliath's husband.
He's in the book.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait,
Because
hold
yeah,
So
he was great.
I will say, no, he wasn't like that, obviously. Like, Wonka, you usually ask me things like, oh, was the NPC written like this? Usually not. Usually I look at it and I look at the context and I'm like, oh, okay, they're going to act like this because that is not a character we've seen before. But if you are looking through I'm pretty sure his husband's in here. Yeah. They are canonically gay. Which,
He just had
which is neat to see them write that. into the
curious
game.
phase.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, sexuality is a spectrum. Like, whatever.
Yep.
Like, he's totally only into he's basically into anybody who can best him in combat. I think he's what is that? That's I guess it'd be team asexual if he's honor sexual, or it would be like, what's strength? Cratosexual. He's cratosexual.
Oh, cratosexual is it? Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, I was.
Yeah, Callie's just that good.
So there's Old Goat, Rune Carved Tunnel. Okay, her techniques for forging. Sorry, I'm looking at Worm Doom Craig right now, trying to find them.
Those, yeah.
But then, of course, like my other
cute.
favorite was Markham.
You just love Markham.
But I mean, I
Markham
loved him since running Storm King Thunder, so that was originally who I wanted to have my like secret lover thing with. But Kelly's like, you can have him for free.
Yeah, you can have him for free. You can. Robin,
You could have a relationship with Markham. That's fine.
what were you tagging in
I'm
there
like,
with?
yes.
Oh, I just said I loved the Goliath arc. That was a cute little
So,
thing.
I found it. This cave is where Arn spends time with his family, namely his husband, Harad Cloudstrider. Akhenathi, which is, of course, like his name, and Herod's elderly mother, Kanika Stormcrow Akhenathi. Each has private quarters off the main cave, etc. And then there's a bunch of stuff about Herod's mother. Any conversation with Kanika awakens her son, who stumbles out of the bedchamber with a great axe in hand to confront intruders. If the characters have gotten off on the wrong foot with Kaniaka, Herod threatens to punish them for the intrusion. Though his sense of honor dictates he cannot draw first blood, he tries to goad them into hurting him first. I did not like... It seemed like both Herod and Arn were basically like two Bravo types. Like they were both like Goliath Worfs from Star Trek. And I'm like, one of them needs to be a little more chill. And I think I just realized that I kind of based Harren off of Max Miller from Tasting History.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think,
You know, I
think there's
totally see that.
I think
Also,
there's a-
I love Tasting History.
Tasting History is
so
great.
much.
Tasting History is amazing.
So good.
Yeah, he's such a sweet person, like from just like the vibe you get.
Yeah.
And you just see that he started a new subsection called Drinking History.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's in his channel, but it's a new format that he's doing as well. So, so free plug to Max Miller, who doesn't need it from a channel with 1/50th the subscribers or less. But it's really cool. It's good background, and you get some cool recipes out of it. But yeah, like I was like, I liked him, and I thought it would be fun to have a character that was, especially if my husband had a relationship with a halfling, would I be threatened by this? Am I a jealous person? And even if I was, would that threaten me? Could it?
You probably wouldn't expect him to.
I think that he would find it so funny that it would just kind of overwhelm any sense of jealousy or envy.
And then, I mean, Callie is was fairly disarming with it too. It was just like,
Oh, hi. Nice to meet you.
This is the
Like-
one. This one here.
Right? Like
no desire to actually restart it or anything or infringe, and
Like-
just honestly congratulatory when she was told that he got married.
yeah, like I'm glad you liked him though.
That was fantastic. I loved that character.
The Goliaths,
I mean, the Goliath
as a
that
whole were
Callie
really
had the
good.
relationship was pretty cool too.
That's true. And then
I really enjoyed how you played them.
and they died.
Yeah, me too.
They all died. So Mike, Christine, anybody else that you loved?
I mean, obviously Huarwar was
Huarwar.
amazing. What you did with him, as opposed to what was in the book, was
Yeah.
incredible. Like you made him such an easy to love and hate character.
And he totally was going to stab you in the back if Lysithian hadn't joined Asmodeus. He was like, I had set him up to go and betray you for Asmodeus because he had switched sides when he stole Zardarok's crown.
Right, yeah.
So he stole the
Right.
crown, and then he stole Zardarok's crown and started wearing it because he was addicted to Chardalin, right? And it's made of Chardalin, so he smuggled it. And then Asmodeus was like, hey, I can totally end that deal that you have with Levistus. Worship me instead. And he's like, oh.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
what did you
Um,
build Har as paladin?
I looked at doing a paladin. He is a level 10 Hexblade warlock.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, no, he's definitely Hexblade.
He was a Hexblade for
Because
sure.
I was wondering it can because I'm not as familiar with builds, but I remember you using smite, and I was like, oh, that's a paladin spell. Is he a
Nope.
paladin?
No, you can get that. You can get that as a Hexblade.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. That's
I like
what
you in
I was
glasses.
curious to ask.
Thank you.
But yeah, you can
Yeah.
totally.
I don't wear them that much.
I really liked Huarwar, naturally, because you made him such an amazing character.
I just stand Adam
Um,
Driver.
I just got reminded, because you're talking about Harwar, just got reminded of that first character from that fort that we spent all the time
Oh God, what was
seducing
his name?
and distracting.
What was it? Thune?
Oh, yeah,
Thune? Is it Thune?
Cool, or something like
Yes.
that.
I'm pretty sure it's Thune.
Harwar has
Soon.
convinced them. Harwar has convinced them of his innocence. I just found that note.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Thoob.
the Thum,
Thoob.
the one that
Yeah.
that cat was
Yeah.
And
using
Vistra.
her charms
Cat and
on.
Vistra.
Who I
And then
basically.
Vistra.
They turned into a rat,
Hi, I'm Thoob.
and her and Lysithian were exploring, trying to find what was going on.
I basically
Yeah,
I stole the voice from Final Space. There's a character in that who speaks, "Let the revolution begin,"
Yes!
and I just stole that voice.
And it worked so well.
Oh, I need to
I
watch
love-
the newest season of Final Space. It's so
I need to watch Final Space.
I think you'd really like
Dude,
it.
it's fucking
The-
excellent.
The first couple episodes of the first season are a little rocky, but it really picks up toward the end. Gary's hard
who-
to like at first.
Who
Yeah.
else did I really? All of your NPCs are always amazing.
I'm curious.
The sister innkeepers from Kaer Koenig.
Yep,
actually,
they're in the book, and
they-
they provide a lot of detail as to how to play them too. In that, it was nice because you don't. Yeah, so keep talking, and I'll look up what they said.
Yeah, like I really liked them. Well, the more social one was
yes.
Very in line with Katerina's style of helpful sisters. Katerina's style of person. And so she really liked her. I mean,
I think it's funny that, by the way, and I wonder if I'm going to see a YouTube comment about this, but I keep saying Kaer Koenig when I mean Kaer Dineval, because I keep thinking that Kaer Dineval...
Yeah.
Kaer Koenig has a castle because it's Koenig Castle, and that's not true. It's Dineval has a dungeon, is what I should be remembering. That's my mnemonic device.
yeah, Kaer Koenig has the ruined castle.
Yeah. So the woman, Ali, is one of the Shorard sisters who own the inn. The other owner, Corey, is working in the kitchen. Ali settles Trovis into a chair before approaching the character. She confirms the town has been experiencing break-ins. Ali thinks the tracks were made by dwarves. Ali is surprised that no one in Kaer Koenig has seen or heard the dwarves. A quiet dwarf is an oxymoron. If the characters ask... actually, maybe they don't. Maybe I just was like, oh, one of them's flirty. And one of them's kind of homely.
Yeah, and I think it was Ali that was the flirty one, and Kat really liked her. Also, I mean, come on, Trovis.
Trovis.
Trovis was
Trovis.
Trovis.
He was awesome. He was awesome enough that we spent a huge amount of money on resurrecting him.
Oh, no, they do at the beginning, actually. They do. Ali is lithe and charming. Greets guests, does all the cleaning. Corey, they have a Cora and a Corey at running inns. It's weird. Is stout and scowling, sees to the inn's provisions, and bicker at each other and stuff. So they've been feuding and running the inn for a decade.
Yeah, I really liked the guy from Targus as well.
Oh, Trovis? Oh, the jerk?
The antagonist guy.
Yeah, he was
Just because it was clearly that you were doing the antagonism thing because I was a harper and he was a member of the Black Snakes
The
or Black Spiders, right?
Nope, that's ours. The Black Spiders are ours. That's
that's
from Milos.
shards.
He's a member of the Xanathar.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
Aren't
he's
they
Right,
called
the
something
flying
black something as well?
snakes. Wasn't it
Uh,
flying snakes? No. not
potentially.
I
He
thought
uses
they had a couple names, I thought.
Black Spiders is from our home game though.
No, okay.
But which was me combining two words on the fly one night.
And it worked.
Yeah, it's a good name for a thing. He is Speaker Nereth Maxel Dinar. He's a Zentarum.
Yeah.
So he's a Zentarum, so like the slavers
Yeah.
and stuff. But yeah, so does anybody else have anything they want to talk about with the way the campaign's written or anything like that?
I can't really think of anything.
I'm-
Nothing off the top of my head.
Yeah, nothing really off the top of my head. I'm just like really pleased with like overall where the story went. Because I think for Lysithian, if they hadn't sold themselves to Asmodeus when they did, because they're like, well, I don't really know what else to fucking do here, and like we need to defeat Oral and fix Icewind Dale, and I need as much power as I can to do so. And also at that point they were getting a little bit more power hungry, which is why it's like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude, let's go. But I think if they hadn't taken that deal and we had all gone back to Icewind Dale, or at least like Lysithian had made it back or something, Lysithian would have gone back to the Goliaths to go teach that young Goliath girl.
That's fair.
That was the
that was a
other
good side
route
plot.
that they were. Yeah, that was the
that was
other
really
route
cute.
that they were going to take. And if we hadn't all been, because Lysithian was like, cool, well, I'm gonna have to dip to Asmodeus because I'm gonna be gone in moments here. So I'm gonna give all my shit to like before they left. If it had gone smoothly, which it didn't, which I'm okay with it not going, they were gonna give their spell like they were gonna transpose more of their new spells and give some of their stuff to the party to bring to that young Goliath girl. But like bring her these are like
Nice.
some more starting tools for them. Give them like the Ring of the Ram and stuff like that. Be like, here.
I liked her.
Okay,
She was a good choice. She was a good
Yeah.
A lot of the best characters were just like weird improv moments, or like, oh, there needs to be a character here for like there's someone for everyone else to interact with. There needs to be someone for Lysithian to interact with. Well, maybe there's like a young mutant who's just beginning to learn their powers. Time to be Magneto.
And you're so good at creating really believable, really either likable or really unlikable NPCs on the fly. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
I was a lonely child and have many personalities in my mind. Right?
That's why we
Right?
end
It's
up
like
in roleplay.
being actors, right? Like it's we're broken.
I'm really curious about, because I'm like, I said like where Lysithian would have ended up if they weren't now working for Asmodeus, and be like, cool, I'm gonna go find Vecna, I guess, woo, which is cool. And now I want to burn my cash and get like the hand and eye of Vecna statue.
Oh, do it. Or get a friend with a 3D printer and,
Yeah, man, it's so neat. But I'm really curious about like you three, like where you thought your character would go.
Yeah, I'm curious too.
Had things gone like a different way.
I fully expected Vistra to die. That was the only ending I
Congrats.
saw for her.
Your wish is granted.
Also, just a fun fact, I wrote this down in my notes. Shortly after the fight with Oral, with her axe, if you guys would have gone through Vistra's stuff if she after she died, on the dragon bone haft of the axe, you would have found it. She had carved in caveat emptor and everyone's names on her dragon bone handle.
Cute.
I wrote that.
That's cute.
I wrote that shortly after the fight with Oral in my notes, because she was like, "This is my family now." So I always expect her to die there.
Aw.
That's really cute.
It's your gravestone. Someone
my
just
gravestone.
asked real quick about what's the deal with your hammer, by the way.
Oh yeah.
So amazing.
So
So-
about Kelly, and you say how you like to make sure everyone has something
You have to have a
like
spotlight.
worth it. Yeah. I really appreciate you listening to me slowly not liking Vistra as a character, because I was having some. I was messaging Kelly and I was like, I'm not really enjoying Rime so much as other games, and I don't know why, what's happened. And I realized it's because I'm not enjoying playing Vistra because I'm feeling useless as the barbarian in this magic city. So then what does Kelly do? He goes and makes something for Vistra, and I'm just like,
Yeah. So originally, the Anvil of Disjunction was inside of the Tower of Abjuration. The Anvil has the power to destroy any magic item that isn't an artifact. When the character holds the Anvil's hammer for the first time, a voice inside their head says, see me to come from the anvil, says, "Bring me your items of power, and together we shall destroy them." To destroy an item, the characters must place it on the anvil, strike it 3 times, and then the item disintegrates in a flash of blue light. Every time that you use the anvil, there's a chance that a tomb tapper shows up and attacks them. It's anchored here and cannot be removed. Removing the handle from the tower causes it to teleport back to the anvil. Okay? Which is fine. It seems kind of a weird choice to put in a magic city. Like, I get that they would have this on hand, because, like, if someone makes a bad magic item or cursed magic item, you can just turn it off, right? It seems like a waste of magical energy, but whatever. But when you were talking about how you were having a lot of problems with Vistra, and that you hadn't got any magic item to feel useful, and that a lot of the enemies you were going to be encountering were, like, completely immune to damage from you. I was like, okay, well, there's a giant hammer that the book says does nothing, but the anvil is telepathic. And it's been trapped underground, unable to eat magic items, which apparently it enjoys destroying, for 5,000 years or so. Maybe it's insane. Maybe it's completely starved, and is basically making, like, little baby warlock packs with anything that'll, like, wave it around.
Hell yeah.
And also, Vistra had gotten the arcane blight saying, I don't trust anyone anymore. So when the hammer is offering her a way to destroy Oral, when she suddenly doesn't trust her party members to be able to trust Oral, she was like, yeah, I'm fucking making this pact with this hammer that's offering me power to kill Oral.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it was
great.
It was good because then, like, it came back at the end, right, to screw everybody else's day up.
Yes,
right? You're welcome.
And those type of plots really resonate, right? Because it's like, oh, that was earned, right? It wasn't just like, the DM screwed us again. Oh, shucks. You're so clever, guy who's on top of everything and controls everything. You know? It's like, no, you actually had to set up cards to make this work, which is always more fun. But what about everybody else? Where did you think you would be?
I don't think that I necessarily knew where Kelly would be, but there was the mild kind of daydream kind of thought of like, maybe Callie could actually settle down with like Markham or somebody, right? Like somebody who she'd been interacting with over the campaign, and stop having to wander. Mm-hmm. Because she had not been planning on getting trapped up in Icewind Dale. Like, she's not from there. And she had kind of just been wandering from town to town, kind of avoiding the lottery.
Yeah.
Just a titch. But that's why she kept wandering so much, to try and make sure that it didn't look weird that she was never there during the lottery. She never stopped there because she's like, screw this shit. They're all insane. And she made lots of friends, and she was doing her Harper thing. But there was definitely that kind of wistful daydream of maybe we'll succeed. Maybe we can do this. Maybe she can like have a home, like have a life again, sort of thing. So I mean, that definitely hit hard then, getting thrown into the past.
Well, the thing is, though, even though you're thrown into the past, you have a lot of ways to fix that. So, like, I can think of 3 ways right off the bat that you can go back to normal. Number 1 is you can just hit level 20 and then you stop aging as a druid.
Yeah.
No big deal. Just go fight the Trask and hit level 20. Number 2, you can affect the past. You could prevent Yithrin from crashing by telling them, oh, hey, don't pick up that spindle. In return for saving your city, can you help us get a wish spell? And
that's true.
All you have to do is say, I wish that we were this far in the future, or I wish that we slept inside of a glacier for like 5,000 years, or be something like that, right? Like you could just basically do the Army of Darkness ending.
Yeah, that's fair.
And the third one is,
I don't know that Callie like knew all that stuff though. So,
I mean, Kat was already thinking about living forever. Because she was so
freaked out.
She was so freaked out at her own mortality when I don't remember who brought it up, but somebody brought it up, that Kat was it never clicked with her that, yeah, she's human. That means a human lifespan. Okay, well, shit.
Yeah, you've already lived like 2 of those.
Yeah, so
You're in a 2/3 life crisis right here, buddy.
Yeah,
exactly. So like, as soon as we met the person with the live forever crown,
Oh yeah, the enchantress.
yeah, the enchantress, she was really like, ooh. And so now that she's stuck in the past, she's like, am I just gonna do that? Is that what I'm gonna do now?
I mean, there are alternate plot lines that you can easily seed in, right? Like,
Yeah.
surprise, cat got a facelift. That was her the whole time. Lol.
Ah!
She was the enchantress. Time loops are a bitch. Whee! Right, like that's why she didn't sleep with you, because that would have been weird.
Yeah.
Little too low-key. Little too low-key.
Little too low-key. Although going back to what we were kind of talking about with where we were going to end up. I mean, with her new life, Kat could have gone back to Baldur's Gate, where she was born, but she'd come to really like the people of Icewind Dale. And so I think she definitely would have stayed there. Just being her touring bard stuff. Probably, she was definitely would have been looking for an excuse to kind of not have to go hunt monsters and just enjoy being who she is. And the other thing would be to explore more of who she is in a not so deadly environment.
I mean, yeah, no, I think she would have had a lot of fun. I think she can have a lot of fun in the past. We just had a question from Tusker in the chat saying, which character should be considered MVP?
War.
That was easy.
I'm like, I don't know. I think we all kind of had our moments.
That's the thing. It's like, again, with Kelly being DM, just gonna talk about you real quick, like you're not here.
That sounds right.
I find Kelly is so good at making sure that each player and each character separately sometimes get to really feel special and get to really be the MVP.
Yeah.
And that it's not this thing where it's like, oh yeah, one character is always going to be the focus because they deal so much damage, or because they always get the kill, or because they're the sexy one. It's all of our characters get to have so much growth and so much potential and really, really get to be the MVP all the time.
Yeah.
So I think the only ones who, like in my opinion at least, I think the only ones who could be considered the MVP are the NPCs.
Yeah.
Because we are all the MVP because of the way that it's run.
I guess that means that Oral's the MVP.
Oral's the MVP. She's the one who brought us together to create this awesome
person.
party.
Most villainous person.
You know who is not Avarice?
Yeah.
She's like, fuck off, I'm a bitch. I'll be back in 4 chapters.
Yeah, basically, kind of.
Literally.
What?
I remembered that there was like a bitch of a tiefling. I didn't remember her name.
She shows up like the
about
icicle
her.
in the Christmas Story
Yeah.
that almost takes his eye out. Like that's Avarice. Just bye. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Like, yeet.
What was the purpose of you? You have this whole thing about albino tieflings, and like, what? It's just weird. It was weird. It was weird, guys.
Yeah.
But thank you for those kind words, Mike. That's very appreciated. I really do try, and particularly in our homebrews, I try to really, particularly in all games, actually, I really try to spread out the focus so that everybody feels like they came to the game for the right reason. Because I always hated playing in games where I would show up and I would be like, man, I could have taken a nap instead of coming to this game, or I could have done my homework, you know?
Yeah.
And those are the worst times.
I've been blessed because I've had I had Hayden for a quick 3-shot, 4-shot, which they did an amazing job for me and got me the hunger for D&D. And then I've had you as my DM, Kelly. So I have thankfully not had any of those games because you were just fan-fucking-tastic at your job.
Thank you. It's because it's my job, folks. Speaking of which,
Ah.
if you have a moment and would like to support Dork Tales, don't forget that we have a Patreon and you can subscribe here on Twitch. You can also click the follow button here on Twitch or sub over on YouTube. And if you're listening on podcast, be sure to share this podcast with your friends and give it a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening to it on. Bing, bing, bing. Okay, I've shilled enough. Let's, Humbo. I got a Space Kitty Face. Oh, hey, Space Kitty Face. Humbo. I mean, the campaign's over. I gotta figure out where to put that in now. I'll put that on my notes. Humbo. Is okay? Real quick for someone in the chat, by the way, if you can't see, just paid a bunch of channel points, which are Twitch currency, that to name something. So is it Humbu? Okay, Humbu. Actually, I have a character in Shards of Nirn I can use that for. So, boom, done.
Anywhere is fine, yeah. Perfect.
That's totally a Loxodon. You know it. Humbu. Yeah, actually, I really try to spread the spotlight out, which is one of the things that, like, in Reign of Emeries is sometimes complicated, because in that game, like, you're all coming from completely different places. So I'm like, I know where the game is headed, and I know that's going to be a big star on a couple of characters, but I got to figure out a way to make everybody else feel like they weren't just, like, the Merry or Pippin of the adventure.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I mean, minus the whole, like, killing Saruman.
Except for, bringing the Ents and actually, like, fucking that shit up, because Merry and Pippin
Fellowship, Merry and Pippin.
Yeah, Fellowship before, they
Fellowship.
get good.
See, was a quick Rain thing for that. It's really hard to make Very feel like that because she feels like she's always the center of attention no matter what she does.
Yeah, that's fair.
She always considers herself the MVP, and so she is always the MVP in her eyes.
And,
Even when he died?
Even when she's dead.
And if you have joined us for Rime of the Frostmaiden and none of our other games, I think that the Reign of Emeries is a really good place for you to start for other content that's homebrew. It's a 24-episode show that we are running tomorrow night. We're running episode 16, so the end of the second act is tomorrow. So it's divided into 3 acts. Very bingeable, very easy, goes down smooth. Just like...
Characters are awesome.
Characters are pretty solid. Like, it's really a good game. Soundtrack's banging. But yeah, so hopefully you'll enjoy that. And then I guess finally, did anybody else not say where they thought their character would end up?
No, I think we all did.
Let's see. Someone asked in the chat, what was the favorite thing you were looking forward to leveling up?
Spells. Just new spells and being able to utilize them in different ways. I'm like, I tried Disintegrate. I'll be real. I didn't think it would fucking work, but I had to try.
I feel you.
But I was like, I had to. I have to just have the balls to do it. Because that's the thing about... like, a lot of spells. A lot of them are saves. And it's like... All right. That's why, like, what I like about, like, any save spells... if they still do half damage.
Yeah, that's the all or nothings are kind of rough.
Yeah. But yeah, honestly, like, new spells, getting to play with it. I love playing wizards. Lysithian kind of solidified the fact that wizards are my favorite class to play. Like, just because I had so much fun with them.
That's fair.
I really enjoyed getting higher level to get better CR stuff because I was doing Circle of the Moon. Also, the 10th level elemental form was pretty cool. However, one day I would like to do a druid up to at least 18 because at 18 you get the timeless body, which you age way slower, but you also get beast spells, where as long as it doesn't have a material component, you can cast your spells in beast form.
Beast form!
Like, even though it has a somatic vocal component, you can still do them in beast shape.
I guess there's the question, can druids speak in their form? Does it say they can or can't?
I don't think you can.
I kind of like it if they can, though, because then you're suddenly a cat that's like, yo, what up? I'm a cat. I'm a cat now.
Your ability to speak or take any action that requires hands is limited to the capabilities of your beast form.
Yeah.
So
That's
as a
what I thought.
parrot, I think you can talk because they are capable of forming the sounds.
Mhm.
Eat.
Fireball. Fireball.
But the level 18 gives you the ability to do it in any beast shape,
All right.
regardless of the abilities of the form.
And I'm pretty sure that Robin was excited about the not dying at level 11.
That was it. The too angry to die because
Too
I
angry.
got the fucking kill on Oral at that. That was so epic. I used it once. I'm so happy I got to
It's
use
so
it.
good. And then
So
I
good.
completely outrolled you. Sorry about that. Okay, so a couple of questions in the chat real quick. One was from people who are joining us brand new for the night, asking if what other games we run. Whoa! And will there be another campaign? So I'll run through it real quick. So generally, so you're not going to see much from us over the next little bit. I'm running Reign of Emeries tomorrow, and then Christine and I are on vacation for about a week and some change. Then we're coming back on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. We are running, as a channel, 11 games for the Extra Life Tabletop Appreciation Weekend, which is a charity benefiting the BC Children's Hospital through the Children's Miracle Network. I really hope that you come. All money that you donate to this through our Extra Life page goes directly to children in need. And it's a lot of fun, and you can affect the game with stuff. I'm running 2 games for that, but we've got a bunch of different game masters who are coming to do everything from Dungeons and Dragons to Kids on Brooms to a Ghostbusters role-playing game that I get to play in with Hayden. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, it's going to be a good vacation. Once I am back from vacation, this Dork Tales is going to be running, I think, 3 to 4 days a week, depending on the week. We were running like 6 to 7, but I'm cutting back to 3 to 4 so that I can actually get some of my other work done. And the games that we have right now that are starting up in September. All right, here we go. September 1st, we return with Season 4 of our homebrew epic that started the channel. That is the Shards of Nirn, our homebrew setting in the generic fantasy world of Elos. That is a weekly game that runs on Wednesdays. Around that, I think on September 3rd? No, September 6th? 30th? Okay. Replacing Rime of the Frostmaiden for 3 weeks or however long it takes, I am running Call of Cthulhu. We have a little agreement with Chaosium, the publisher of Call of Cthulhu. They're going to give us some books to give out, so hopefully you can come and maybe win some prizes. But Hayden's been talking about wanting to play Call of Cthulhu forever, so I'm going to run it for them.
Literally forever.
Literally forever, and it's going to be like 1 to 3 sessions. Might be the same characters, might be different modules. I'm running out of a book they've given me, and so that'll be a lot of fun. That's going to be on Monday nights. Then on September 17th. No, I'm on August. On September 21st, Wild Beyond the Witchlight drops, which that night we are going to be having a session 0 and meeting our characters for that. And then the following Monday we are running episode 1. And that will replace Rime of the Frostmaiden in our slot. Wild Beyond the Witchlight is the new Wizards of the Coast game that is set in a mystic carnival that is connected to the Feywild in some way. And more info about that will be coming soon, as well as the trailer. Beyond that, I am also at the end of August, beginning of September, my Sunday afternoon game, which was Cyberpunk before it ended, is going to become a Deadlands game, which is undead cowboys in the Wild West. That's going to be a really good cast. And then on Fridays, I run the Reign of Emeries, which is also set in the homebrew fantasy world of Elos and is on the timeline somewhere. So besides that, I think that's all I'm running right now. Oh, and every Saturday, I run a fully costumed game called Mage the Ascension, the Victorian Age, which is a World of Darkness game set in the Victorian era with magic and like lots of horror elements, and is a very mature game, and would not recommend it to people under 18 for most sessions, because it can be kind of kind of rough at times. It's like a rated R game. But after that, I'm going to be running a bunch of games further in the year to keep my schedule at like 3 to 4 games, maybe some more Chronicles of Darkness stuff. And because Bongmaster, you asked me specifically in the chat, am I running any more sci-fi? Sci-fi is actually not my favorite thing to run because I don't get it as much as I get fantasy and modern settings. Magic feels better to me than science. I'm a writer. I am about making stuff up on the fly, so that makes sense. But I am working. I'm going to be working with Free League to run a series of Alien, the role-playing games. So that is going to be happening in September, October, somewhere in there. Basically, when I have free time in October, probably. And then in November, we'll have Extra Life, where you get to see a ton of games. And apparently I'm going to run some one-shots out of Icewind Dale. Which, by the way, if you like this book and want to see all of the cool tabs and stuff, don't forget to join us at Extra Life, where you have a chance to win a signed copy, this signed copy, of Rime of the Frostmaiden. Including all of my, like, I'll even annotate it in places if you want. But yeah, we're going to sign it. We're gonna give it away to people who donate, and
So we have to play those one shot soon.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got the PDF, so I can run that off that as well. But you have a chance to win it, and I will mail. Here's the deal. I will promise you that if you win the book, I will mail it to you wherever you are. You'll have to donate money to, but like, you're interested in how you'd go about running a sci-fi. Me or yourself, Bong? I'm curious. If you're looking for advice, by the way, if you're not already with us, be sure to join our Discord, because then you can talk to us, ask us questions, meet our wonderful community over there. And you can also ask me questions, because I am very interested in the act of storytelling. I've taught storytelling at a college, and it's kind of my passion in life. So if you want to learn how to up your own game, your narrative, like, talk to me. Like, my ideas might not be perfect, but they might help get you on to a different thought pattern, you know? And that's usually all it takes, is just having someone to bounce ideas off. So, yeah, more than happy to help you. But yeah, so that's me talking about the other games. So those are all the other games we run. We hope you come back for Wild Beyond the Witchlight. It's going to be a really great cast, and it's going to be rad, because I just rewatched some videos and realized a secret about Wild Beyond the Witchlight that only 80s kids will get.
Hell yeah.
Which is the Mines of Madness? The Mines of Doom or something like that. So if do you want to hear this? It's a little minor thing that if you look up the maps, you'll notice. Anybody know the D&D cartoon?
Never watched it.
I know
but
it
yes.
exists.
I
know
love it.
I grew up in the 80s, so I actually have that on a VHS at my mom's house.
Oh my god.
Because I grew up, I'm a military brat, so like all the videos and stuff I watched growing up were on VHS, because we didn't have TV in English, because we were living in Europe, right? So this explains a lot about me and my obsession with films, because I've watched a lot of films hundreds of times, because they were literally what I had on the shelf. In the beginning of the D&D cartoon, basically it's a bunch of kids in 80s America who go on a roller coaster ride inside of a carnival and get transported to a magical world where they become all of the D&D classes and have to go on an adventure to try to get back home.
Hell yeah.
That roller coaster is in the Witchlight map.
That's so neat.
That's awesome.
So I am really excited that those characters might show up in the book, because they never got home. The show got canceled.
That would be cool. That would be very
That's really
cool.
neat.
I really want it. I really want it. But folks, I think what we should probably do now is say thank you. Thank you for sticking with us for 40 episodes. And thank you for playing under me for 40 episodes. I hope that you had a lot of fun with it. And I hope you're excited for what we do here and for doing more stuff with me. Because you guys chat me up a lot, and I really appreciate it. And I do really appreciate the sentiment. but a dungeon master, game master is only as good as the players that they have working with them. And you are a wonderful cast of characters, wonderful cast of friends. And I don't think that this would have been nearly as fun with any other group, let alone without each and every one of you being as special, unique, and wonderful as you are. It's true. No, it's really true. It's true. Hayden, you bring such vivacity. Christine, you bring such spunk. Robin, you brought such just annoying rage, I think. Annoyance and rage? Annoyance, not annoying. Annoyance as the character. Vistra was annoyed a lot. It was good. But you played stupid, by the way, really well. It really takes a good player to play stupid, right? I really appreciate that.
And not just like really irritating.
Yep.
Yeah,
And-
like playing low intelligence is hard.
And Mike, I loved seeing you grow into Katerina and finding your footing. And I always love playing with you because you always come up with like the weirdest ideas. And it's just fantastic. I also just love spending time with you because you're one of my best friends. So, in fact, you're all some of my best friends. And you were before the game, and you will remain after the game. Congratulations, our friendship survived the Frostmaiden.
Yay!
I don't know. I think our friendship was started with the game. To be honest,
This is true.
It's true. Yeah.
It's true.
all of you became my friends because of this game. Well, not
I'm-
Hayden. We were before.
I was gonna say,
We
I'm
were
like, bitch,
before.
I've known you.
I've known you for like realized like 10
years,
now.
'cause high
Fuck,
school,
bitch,
man.
'cause high school.
I mean, I've never actually met two of you outside of this game.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
gotta. I
Like
hate coming to
like,
the island, but I'll do it.
Yeah. Like
you gotta come
I've-
to sign this.
right?
I know. I have to come to the
Um,
island.
And I,
I mean,
have,
like,
I have
like-
cider for you, Beesh.
I know you
like-
do.
Robin, even though you live in the city that I live in, I've never actually met you in person.
I know we need to soon. We need to.
What?
Right?
Why not?
I
Like,
don't know.
Hayden, I get it with you more because I mean, for the first 3/4 of this, you literally lived not
I
in
lived
this country.
Los Angeles.
And granted, I don't make it to Los Angeles very often. Usually, like once every couple of years, I make it to LA.
Hello.
But yeah, straight up, need to actually meet the two of you in
I
person.
know. Dude, when I come to the island, I will. Here's what we do I come directly to Victoria, and we'll go from there.
All right.
Yeah, straight up.
Just don't do it over the next 2 weeks.
I'll pick you up at the ferry. I'll pick you up
Yeah,
at
no.
the ferry, Beesh.
Yeah, man. I gotta get my
Alright.
second dose.
So,
Yeah.
with that, I think this is probably a good place to say thank you so much for joining us. You're all wonderful. I hope you stick with us for future adventures and come and give other stuff a try. I think that most of you, if you like this game, you'll really like the Mage the Ascension game I'm running. I really think you will. The cast is really phenomenal, and it's got similar themes to this, but with even more role-playing. And you don't need to know the system to understand the story. The system gets it's pretty easy. So episodes 0 and 1 are both on YouTube right now, and I think you can still find it on Twitch. Episode 2 is going up tonight, but it'll be released tomorrow. Yeah, it'll be really good. And then stick around for Wild Beyond the Witchlight, or join us for Shards of Nirn, because that game is literally an improv game we make up on the fly. Oh god, they're going to like. Bam, I see you in the chat. I'm gonna need some ideas for running Fallout New Vegas. In a fantasy setting. Like, I need you to send me the weirdest shit about Las Vegas, because you would know better than most. But besides that, thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. And I'm gonna let y'all say goodbye. And where can we find you? Start with you.
I guess. Oh boy. Heckin', thank you guys so much for joining us and, putting up with the Lysithian bullshittery and the asshole that they was
I'm going to bother
and
you so
are,
hard.
because they're still around it. But they're, thank you for putting up with me learning the fucking accent while we were playing.
You should definitely follow Hayden and everything that they do and all of their new projects and their new voice work that they're doing.
So you can find me here on Mondays. I won't be here until we start Cthulhu again. So come hang out with me on Twitter. I'm at Haybell Voiceover on Twitter. And 3 days a week, you can find me streaming over on Nat19 on Wednesdays, or Nat19 Official if you want the channel. On Wednesdays, I play video games with Brett Brederson, internet famous Brett Brederson. Gotta say
That
the full
Brett
title.
Brederson?
And then
The Brett Brederson?
the Brett Brederson. She's
Bread.
in the house right now.
Toast to Brett Brederson.
Toast to Brett Brederson. And then on Thursdays and Saturdays, I play D&D over there. So if you want more roleplay stuff from me, I'm over there. And then I'm gonna be doing some new fun stuff. I'm now Amelia in Case Study of Vanitas, which you can watch over on Funimation. You know, support that show. Hopefully it'll get a second season, because the manga's real good right now, and I'm selfish and I want more. But yeah, that's where you could find little old me.
Nice. Mike.
All right. Thank you all so much for coming to join us for this phenomenal game full of growth, emotions, love, hatred, Red Lobster,
Biscuits.
Do
they still have those for
And-
sale at Costco?
and
You know,
genuine terror with dragons. So thank you all so much. It's meant so much to me to have you all watching us, to have you all to play with, Kelly, to have you running this.
My heart.
And you're all gonna get to see me all the time because I'm still in Reign of Emrys,
It's true.
which is tomorrow night.
It's tomorrow night. You
Tomorrow
better
night.
show up.
Yes.
Put on your skirt.
Wee. I am also in Shards of Nirn, which I'm not positive when that one. No, that one is starting up on the 1st again.
It's starting up on the 1st of September.
Yeah, starting up on the 1st. And outside of that, you can find me over at my Twitch channel, Captain Starbun, where we explore new worlds and not civilizations. But we explore the galaxy, and I bring you along with me.
Nice. Robin.
All right, everyone. It's been a slice. I get weirdly emotional and I get awkward, but it's been such a right? I'm like, hey, finger guns instead of saying my feelings, but it's been an absolute joy and pleasure playing with you guys and getting to know you guys, because you are some of the best people I've ever met in my entire life, and I love you all so very much. And it's just been an absolute joy spending my Monday nights with you, especially at the beginning when I wasn't doing as much D&D and I was in a situation where I kind of wasn't having the best time. I really looked forward to Monday nights. They were a literal like bright spot in my week. So thank you for bringing that to my life. And yeah, it's this is your feelings. But you can find me at here, because I don't leave here. You guys got me now, so
Robin's around a lot.
yeah, I am. So I'm here, but when I'm not here, I'm at Second Gen Gamer on Twitch.
Nice. And then finally, Christine.
Yes, this has been absolutely awesome. I've loved this game. It was wonderful to have Robin join us, and it's also been like probably our first really huge game for our channel. So it's just been amazing how many people have joined us for this, who come back week after week, who've joined the Discord and have all these conversations with us and all these compliments on what we do and how we're doing it and all this cool stuff. And it just feels really good, guys. So thank you. And it's just lovely playing with you dorks. Absolute dorks. Absolute dorks. First time actually getting to spend time with Hayden properly and getting to know you. Mike, you're old hat. I've played with you before.
It's true.
we've had fun times. And getting to meet Robin and hang out with you. But otherwise, besides being on Dork Tales, which for a change, I am starting to not be in everything. I am enforcing my boundaries.
That sounds bad.
Because when we started, we were basically literally in the living room together. And I was like, well, if people are playing in the living room, I'm not going to be sleeping anyways. So I might as well be in the game. But now I can put some distance and be like, I need some time to myself. But when I'm not taking time to myself, you can find me on Lady Liliana on Twitch, where I play Guild Wars 2. For the most part, I've been adding a little bit of Dream Daddy, which was a lot of fun, and I want to get back to it when I have time. Absolute ridiculousness. It was great. So come hang out with me and chat there. I'm more than happy to talk about Dorktale stuff too on my channel. So
nice. And she says that she's putting some distance. It just means she's only going to be in 2 to 3 games a week.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, instead of all of them.
It's true. All the ones except for the ones with vampires. Oh yeah, we're also running a vampire game in October.
Because like right now I'm in Shards, so I'll be in Shards.
Don't.
I'm in Rain. I'm losing Rime now, but I'll be in Witchlight, and I'm in Mage.
Yeah.
So
folks,
that's 4 games.
It's not bad.
Then we'll go back down to 3.
All right, so folks, we're gonna call it here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Thank you for helping us defeat Rime of the Frostmaiden, and whoever ends up with this book, thanks for watching.
Aww.
It'll be signed with a silver pen in the front, but and let me know if whoever wins that if you want it annotated. But thank you for watching. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.